which include the treatment, then preventive measures, then you have the palliative care. Yeah.
Maybe you can speak up. I think your voice is not there yet. What? Yeah, so you want an essay on that. Yeah, so from what Brad has said, Evans, what can you add to that?
Okay. From what Brian has said, as my colleague whom we wrote and it's about USC together with him, USC, the Big Four agenda is a series of activities that the government is seeking to address so that problems that Kenyans are facing can be solved. So to be specific, on USC, the government is trying to fulfill the needs of Kenyans. Probably, the government is completing the hardship Kenyans undergo when they go to the hospital. They are trying to ensure that when one goes to the hospital, he or she is treated on a free without undergoing any financial hardship. Thank you.
Yeah, Brian, you want to come in again?
Yeah. Maybe just to add on it and give you a perspective. Healthcare access in Kenya has been Healthcare access in Kenya has been marked by several challenges, whereby most of the payments people still pay out of pocket. People still pay out of pocket. So, and we have the national insurance, the NHIS, which the government is basically the government is trying to bring in more Kenyans under the insurance cover of the NHIS, and so as to ensure accessibility to health is more comprehensive and equitable. What we assessed, basically, we looked at two parts. There was the access bit, and then there was the financing bit. Under access, we've seen that the government has been keen on fast-tracking UNC attainment through programs such as the Beyond Zero Foundation. Then we have a lot of incentives and not incentives, but investments are being put into hospitals in Kenya by expanding their capacity. We are seeing also through services offered by NHIF, like the Linda Mama Foundation, which is geared upon ensuring that there are zero maternal deaths and a woman who is pregnant can actually obtain services without paying.
Okay, thank you for that. I think as we continue this discussion, you'll bring more other elements of the UHC as we move on, because we're at the beginning of the introductory part of this. Now, Emmanuel, what is this food security and the nutrition all about?
Food security and the Big Four agenda seeks to address the question, have you ever missed a meal? When the president was giving his speech, that was Jamhuri Day on 2017, he said that he has listened to Kenyans complain about the food issue. And he said that he has listened to it and grouped under the food security issue, whereby it's a situation whereby all people at all times are able to get the physical and economical access to food at all times. Yeah.
Okay, so what are the elements of this food security? Moses, so what is the composition? Because we want you to tell us also the understanding, what is the structure of that food security and nutrition?
My understanding of the food security and nutrition is that it seeks to eliminate, it seeks to decrease food losses and make sure that all people have access to nutritious food which have all the micronutrients available.
Okay, and what is the structure of it? What is this agenda? What is the government doing about it?
My understanding of the Big Four agenda, specifically on food security and nutrition, is that it's aligned to Vision 2030 and it's intertwined to what was adopted by UN member states in 2015. That's what the need for it.
Okay, if I was to define, this also is for your benefit, as if I come to you. If I was to define myself, then I'd have to tell how I'm dark, right? How I have short hair. So say that somebody is able to define me. So that's what I'm more expecting you to tell me when we are talking about what's your understanding of the big four agenda. So that somebody was never heard about this is able to say, okay, is that what the agenda is about? Wow. Okay. So I may come back to for another round of questions on that. Now maybe we can now move to housing. And Alex, will look at the courses you want anything on that. So what's your understanding of the big four agenda under the housing? What is this government doing? What's the structure like? How is it planning it? Right? So that we are able to appreciate and then even if they take what the government is doing on that.
So thank you very much. Affordable housing.
I don't know whether the mics are ready.
You can check.
All right. So affordable housing seeks to address the need for housing in the country, where the government doesn't want a lot of Kenyans using a lot of their income to pay for housing. So it has an agenda whereby the structure was laid out and given to the Ministry of Urban Planning so that they could construct and kick off the construction of 500,000 housing units around the country. So this will address the issue about many Kenyans not affording to live in decent houses. So the houses to be constructed by the government are to be adequate for the Kenyans. They are to solve the Kenyan needs. That is, if there is need for sanitation, if there is need for water, if there is need for electricity, decent housing is solved by affordable housing.
Okay, maybe process Naleka, you can add on what Alex has said.
Yes, I can add on.
Put the mic closer to your mouth.
Affordable housing implies the development of adequate, standardized, well-spaced, and available houses with continuous supply of water and electricity to the Kenyan citizens across the 47 counties. Yeah, this is in line with the SDG goals, like goal number 1, no poverty, and goal number 6, it's clean water and sanitation. And also in accordance to the Article 43 of the Constitution, Chapter 4, the right to accessible and adequate housing to reasonable standards of sanitation.
Okay, thank you very much for taking us through that. So now maybe Austin, can you let us also know what is this manufacturing is all about in the big four agenda?
Well, both manufacturing, as far as the big four agenda is concerned, manufacturing is agenda by the government, by the national government, that seeks to raise the Kenyan gross domestic product from 8.5% to 8% by 2022. Then it seeks again to raise to achieve top 50 rank in the ease of doing business by the World Bank from position 80 to top 50 by 2022. That is before the president finishes his second term in power. Again, manufacturing, according to the 17 goals of SDGs, that is goal number 9, that is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Manufacturing seeks to improve industries and innovation by developing and promoting technical and vocational training institutes, that is TVETs, to encourage youths or rather young Kenyans to develop or be self-employed from the art of making, because manufacturing, as well known, is from the word of the basics of manufacturing is art of making. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe Arasa, can you give us more information
Yes.
about manufacturing?
In addition to what my friend Foster has said, there is a gap in the jobs industry. Lack of jobs, which is characterized by low manufacturing capacity, is what the government is responding to in line with this agenda of enhancing manufacturing, and also in line with SDG number 7, which is decent work and economic growth. So the government is aiming at creating at least 1 million new jobs, in addition to the existing jobs where we have 3 million formal jobs and roughly 15 million in the informal sector. So that is my understanding.
Okay, now you talked about jobs. So as we go around this, so what are the targets for manufacturing and how can manufacturing therefore help in job creation?
You see, in manufacturing, basically it's the people, the human labor, that can help the government achieve its targets in terms of raising the GDP and the FDI. That is the foreign direct investment inflow, which the government seeks to increase 5 times from $672 million to 3.8 billion USD, and at least be in top 50 of the list of ease of doing business in the world. So through initiatives like enhancing the special economic zones and regional modern industrial parks and removal of hindrances in the agro-processing industries, the government can achieve this by, in terms of creating at least 1 million jobs. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. Maybe now, Austin or Rasa Steel. So in this manufacturing, what are the sectors which are targeted by government?
The government targets special economic zones like the Gokungu and the rest. Then there's the agro-processing sector, which now incorporates the farming sector and the marketing sector. Again, we have the SMEs, that is the small, medium, and the micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Okay, so that is good. And then in housing, let's say the constituency, you were talking about affordable housing, decent housing, adequate housing. So, in your opinion, the structure of that agenda, the way it is, so what is this that is going to respond to the issue of affordability and also respond to the issues of adequacy and the distance in that agenda? Maybe Alex can go first.
So thank you for that question. So for affordable housing, most of us have been to the Nairobi region, and if you look at those houses, they are high-end houses, which are quite expensive. So the government is trying to do this project so that it can lower the cost of housing units. So I'll give you an instance. A one-bedroom house, after it's completed, it will go for around 1 million shillings. So according to the place where it is, and according to the income of a Kenyan, 1 million shillings for a house, especially in a urban area, is quite affordable. So that the issue about cost is solved. So the other thing about affordability is tackled by most of these Kenyans living in those houses. Most of the income nowadays, a lot of your income, maybe after graduation, a lot of it will go to rent, right? So maybe by including these affordable houses, the government is thinking to not charge more than 30% of your income to go to housing. So at most, 30% of your income will go to rent. That's how the government is solving the issue of affordability, both on the long run and in the short run.
Okay, thank you very much. Rebecca, before I move maybe main constants. Yeah,
Yeah, and the project is across the 47 counties so that all the citizens can be able to access the housing units.
Okay, so you're saying the affordable housing is not only concentrated in some towns or some, so it's all over the country. Every county has some components or some units to be developed there.
So for that, affordable housing right now is available in several counties. One of them is Nairobi, the other one is Machakos, the other one is Mombasa. So throughout these regions, and they were targeted this way because of a reason. They are places which are upcoming. So these places, affordable housing is going to be available for them, and they are distributed that way in Kenya.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Brian and Nevat, do you think there's something else you want to add to clarify what was about the UHC in terms of its structure?
Yeah.
Yes, so you can speak to the mic.
So, under UHC, it was piloted in 4 counties in Kenya: Kisumu, Machakos, Isiolo, then Nyeri. And there is a reason as to why the UHC was piloted in those counties. Kisumu has a high rate of communicable diseases transmission, that is malaria, HIV, and AIDS. Then we have Nyeri, which was piloted because of its high rate of non-communicable diseases like diabetes. Then we have Machakos, which was selected because of the high number of accidents. Then we have Isiolo. The government was targeting to see how UHC would respond to nomadic counties or the first populated counties. Also, Isiolo was picked because of the high mortality rate. Now, from the pilot, the government also noted some things from the pilot, and we have, there was a skill mismatch, or most of the doctors, they were not skilled, they were not answering the questions that were being posed by the diseases or the disease burden in those areas. Then we also have that we have poor investment in the sector.
Okay.
Then we have to reorient our health systems towards primary healthcare approach. So the need for interventions that increase the workforce and community ownership of the UHC program. There has been some gains towards answering to these concerns that were raised from the pilot. We have seen the Cuban doctors who are brought into the country. Then the government targets also to increase more people or more Kenyans covered under the NHIF program. Then at last we have leveraging technology towards ensuring that more people can access healthcare services.
Okay, so thank you very much. And Evans, do you have anything to add there? Or if you can pass this then, okay, Emmanuel and Moses, anything else we want those introductory part of food security? Is there something you think you need to discuss to us that we are very much conversant about the food security and nutrition?
Yeah, under food security, there are 4 pillars. The first one is availability, that food should be available and not affordable. The second one is access. After now that the physical food, either people can produce it in their household or they can buy it in the market, they're able to access it. Third, utilization. After now accessing the food, the question is how do these people utilize the food? The lastly is stability, whereby the first 3 pillars work hand in hand to ensure that food is stable. On that, the insecurity food costs are complex and multidimensional, whereby the main cause of food insecurity is poverty, where people are poor, low access to basic social services, and inadequacy to some public policies. Now, thanks that we are here to know these policies.
Okay. most topic?
Okay, this is agenda 6 at make to ensure that we achieve adequate nutrition to all households in Kenya. Number 2, increase the quantity and quality of food available and accessible to all Kenyans. Number 3, protect vulnerable populations in the community.
Okay. So I think with that introduction, you can see we have a fair understanding of the big four agenda, and the panelists have taken us through that. But as they were discussing, they have talked about good things. But I wanted to ask a general question, which you may want to respond to. So, what will it take for us to deliver the respective agenda? Maybe I can start with Alex about housing. What is it? What will it take us as a country for us to ensure that there is affordable, adequate, decent housing?
So the goals lined out by the government are pretty ambitious, but with some awareness among Kenyans on the need and the usefulness of this agenda, I think the government will achieve it. One, in line with COVID-19 right now, the pandemic has really affected the economy. Most people have lost their jobs. So as the economy continues to recover, I think and I know that most Kenyans will embrace the affordable housing agenda. And this will require a lot of public-private partnerships between the government and the private stakeholders, which, because the private stakeholders are responsible or will be mandated to set up these houses. So if there will be a good partnership between the private sector and the government, affordable housing will be made a reality.
Okay. What about manufacturing?
Okay. As far as manufacturing is concerned, I can say that under big or heavy industries, that is oil and mining and food processing industries, the government or rather the research should be conducted. The reason why other government are failing, other companies are failing, while the government are still bring another. For example, we should investigate the root of failure. For example, Mia Sugar Company or the Rai Pepper Mills, that is Webue, instead of creating new ones. Another example is the government has has started Simba Cement in Nakuru, but instead it had to investigate why East African Portland Cement, that was in Mombasa, that is about to fail. So, according to me, the government, instead of bringing up another company, it has to investigate first why the latter collapsed. Then the government also has to invest with the people, that is, for example, the cottage industries, that is welding, beading, crocheting, and basket making. Because, for example, there at home we have grandmothers who are not employed, so they depend to earn their living, they depend on the work of their hand. That is, it could maybe that is crocheting or beading. So, for example, they should, according to me, the government should at least enact some effort to them so that to encourage them at least to make more and look for market for them. That way, at least the government, the national GDP will be at least raised, even though it will not reach 15% by 2022. At least we will have realize an increase in GDP growth.
Okay, now I want to move to food and security on the same question. But I wanted to alert the audience that after these two questions, I'm going to give an opportunity for 1 or 2, 3 reactions from the audience to our panelists before we move to another set of questions. So, Emmanuel and or Moses, who want to go, what will it take for the country to ensure that we are food secure and whatever we eat, that we are getting the right nutrition?
it will take the government of Kenya a lot of commitment in providing food and nutrition to its people. First, by increasing the large-scale production of staple foods. We know that maize is the staple food here in Kenya. So when the government will increase the land grown for maize, it will indeed make sure that there's an increase of this food. Also, there are other foods, regional foods, depending where one come from. Maybe potatoes, both sweet and Irish. When they're grown in large numbers, it will assist the government to increase food to its people. Same to that, by doing that, it's also increasing by a 34% income for the farmers. Second to that, it also makes sure that there's no illegal fishing to fishing communities by making sure that it practices their aquaculture inland and ocean. To fruits growing communities, that's the orchards, the government also need to irrigate large acres of land to ensure that there's more fruits, oils, and nuts in our country. Talking about animal production, the dairy and meat, the animal eating communities need to be educated well on the modern methods which can be used to make sure that there's a lot of milk and meat in the market. All these will come through if the government will provide the mechanical equipment to farmers, either by leasing or by selling them directly to the farmers. Also in issues of warehousing, the government can use the warehouses we have in Kenya to provide for the farmers. These tools may include the tractors, transplanters, combined harvesters, and irrigation equipment.
Okay, I think that's good for that. Maybe before I move to the audience, and you understand that those who have joined us online, I think you can drop your questions, your comments. There's a team from Kippra who will be able to harmonize the questions, and they will be able to raise the questions when we give opportunity to the plenary. Yes, before then we move there, I want you for UHC, Evans Odhiambo, could you tell us what it will take there for the country to do that? Meanwhile, if there's anybody from the, because I was speaking one, will want to say something, I'll just give you 30 seconds to do that before I move to the audience.
Okay, thank you. For the government to fulfill the unity agenda to the citizens, the first challenge the government is, or the most challenge we are facing in fulfilling the agenda is affordability. So affordability, this is where we talk about quality. So you find that when people realize that now treatment is free, many people will go to the hospital. Patients will have a long waiting time before they see the doctor for better treatment. Another thing, the government should ensure proper funding to the health sector. For example, when we have many citizens visiting the hospitals with the current drugs available in the hospital, they won't get the services that they need, so as per their diseases requires. Another thing, the government should provide proper labor to various hospitals. As of now, when everybody, before people fear going to the hospital because of high costs, now that the government will cater for everything, for their treatment to be done to them, with a little or inadequate number of doctors available, they won't get, or their needs won't be fulfilled as the requirement. Another thing, public education is required for all citizens. As one knows more about UHC, it's not all about his grandmother or any other person who really what news knows about it. So government should provide public education for all, so that everybody knows more about UHC, knows more about its importance and how someone can be included in the UHC.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Among the panels, do I have some participants? It must be really burning one. You want to communicate before I welcome the discussion from the audience.
Yeah, thank you. In addition to what my brother said, we should understand that each and every year, people graduate from colleges and universities, which means that they are trained to do some work. But unfortunately, we have a gap in employment. And that makes job creation a continuous process, which the previous governments have not achieved. That calls us to review the policies that we had before on job creation. Because as I've said, job creation is a continuous process. For instance, if I take you through the Konza Techno City. The Konza Techno City.
Can put your mic close to the mouth.
Thank you, sir. The Konza Techno City was expected to create 17,000 direct jobs and accommodate up to 200,000 people who could venture into SMEs. This would contribute to up to 10% growth in the GDP, which means what ought to be done is to have an independent budgetary allocation on such a good policy or project so that it can be achieved, because already the government has spent in it and they are not seeing fruits currently. And lastly, we can also copy. We can copy from neighbors and other developed jurisdictions. For instance, in Cameroon, they have what we call a Center for Creation, Formation, and Sustaining SMEs, which educates entrepreneurs on marketplaces. If you could do that, then we could save the dying SMEs, because according to the KNDS, more than 60% of the SMEs created do not make it to the 5th year. So if you could educate the entrepreneurs of the marketplace, then it could save us such what I can call premature SMEs.
Okay, thank you very much. I know you, panelists, you really want to say something. This discussion, we are not closing it because we want to discuss what will it take as a country for us to be deliver the people. What is it that we need to do? We have said government. So who is government? Are we all government?
Yeah.
Does everybody have a role to play? Yes. That's the discussion we want to have. So you have heard from the panelists, and I know they are going to have their closing remarks on that issue. But we have two more questions we are going to ask them on what the COVID-19 how it has affected the delivery of the agenda, and also what will be the role of technology. For those two, you may reserve them for them to respond first. But I would like to ask the question to the audience: what will it take us to deliver UHC if we may start with the help, the UHC students? If there's anybody who can add something, is there something you think we need to turn around, or we need to continue doing because we're doing the right thing? So I need two people to take the mics from end here on this row and this row, and you are able to ask questions. You sanitize the handle, not the. Let me have another person here. The scouts. When I say that, the scouts should immediately stand up. Yeah, because that is the rule. Always take up opportunity in the scouts fraternity. Yes, you must always be ready to help. I thought that is the scouts and the rules. Huh? Yes, we have two hands at the back there, and this one. So when you stand up, you tell us your name and what your response is all about, and I think the cameras are going to focus on you.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Matthew. maybe just a question also of the panelists. You see nowadays people run from rural to upper. So my question is, what should the government do for these people to make the rural areas so that most of them want to run the urban areas?
Okay, I think that question is second. Who are you directing the question to? I wanted us to focus on UNC, but I think you are going to shoot your questions randomly. It's no problem. But who is that under which agenda?
It is under the agenda, the housing.
Yeah, we are talking about rural urban migration. So we need to ask ourselves, why are people moving from the rural to the urban? And which among the four agenda is likely to respond more effectively and efficiently to that problem? So I think I'll direct that question to manufacturing. And also the question I was asked, you will be able to respond to that as housing. Okay, the other question or comment or contribution?
Yeah, it's a contribution or response. I'm Kisii at the University in Human Resource Management. Concerning the UNC, I think it's a good program run by the government, and what the government should focus on is to make it a success is to add more subsidies. For example, starting the program at county levels, the national government should add more funds because it's a subsidized program so as to make it a success. And also to the citizens, we are encouraged to apply things like NHIF to help us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a comment that the national government should be able to liaise with the county governments and subsidize. So I'll direct on UXC. So I think you'll respond to that. How effective can the subsidies therefore be delivered if at all that is a policy option we may want to opt to as a country? Any other comment? That is UXC.
My name is Adam. I have a question.
Where is the other mic? Okay, we have that one.
I have a question for us. Considering the state of our economy, we have a lot of the small and medium-sized enterprises as compared with the already established, or rather, the startup businesses in our economy and region. So, which area should the government focus on more, considering the number? And why should and why is it that they should maybe focus on the startups or the already established businesses? Okay.
Okay, that is still, and unfortunately, you seem to be having a lot of work to do on the issues of SMEs, and especially startups, or the issues of manufacturing, and which areas do we really need to focus so that we are able to go where the masses are, and on issues of manufacturing. Another question or comment on what it takes, as what it will take us to deliver the people. Yes.
My question is concerning the universal healthcare coverage. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw that the doctors went on strike. So what are the incentives that the government should put in place to ensure that such occurrences will not occur in the future? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think it makes you are being asked that we may put everything in order, we may put everything in place, but the disruptions which come from industrial action, especially in respect from the health practitioners or health workers, need to be addressed. What incentives can we do to that? I would want to welcome a comment on affordable housing. Anybody wants a comment on affordable housing? There's someone at the back there, on the left side. There are two on affordable housing. Because we want to balance our responses to our panelists before they respond.
Okay, thank you. On affordable housing, I think it's a good idea to basically it aims at stabilization. But my point is the one issue they are not considering. I'm from an area where people in a household, they're not considered in that. You get like, as you say, one bedroom house. It's a one bedroom house, but the number of people living in that house, in as much as it's a good house, it's more preferably that they live in their own house, their own mother house, that is heated well and suited all their needs. So maybe what are the plans for maybe enlarging the house capacity, or maybe giving them more houses other than the one bedroom one that the government is considering?
Okay, I think the question is clear, and she's addressing on issues of adequacy. What we call an adequate housing, apart from the other components. So, the question is on number of households versus number of persons. So, if the 500,000 is focusing on number of households to be given or to be provided with such affordable housing, what about we are taking care of the number of persons within households, especially in the slum? And you remember the SDG, the motto is that leaving no one behind. If we provide these things to the other groups of Kenya, we leave out the people living in the form of settlement, especially in urban areas, then we have a challenge. So that's a question we want to respond to the team for affordable housing. I want to question on food security. You know, we are in Kisii. Is Kisii food secure? Yeah. Or the avocados? Oh, no wonder when you went to eat mandazi because there was no mandazi there. You gave priority to that. Okay. Now, seriously, so can we have a comment or a question on food security? What do you think it will take us to deliver that? What is the missing thing? I like the question the lady who was just spoken that there is one thing that we are going to focus on, and that is what we want the policy. Remember, Professor was talking about we need to address things scientifically. So scientific question will require that we go to the root cause, the first issues which we need to look at. So food security, I'm seeing 3 hands, and the one will come all of them. The two on this side, and then there's a mic already. Someone has a mic already. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Then we start with the one at the front here. Then the other two. If it's on food security, yes.
My name is Agatha. Two points happening with security. I've had them talk about security, and I think the agenda also talks about children. So, you know, in a place in Makiani, food security levels high, but the nutrition levels are low. So I would like to know how maybe we can tackle the nutrition part of that food security.
Okay, thank you very much. That we should support security and nutrition. So your focus much on food security. What are these elements in the agenda which speak to the issue of nutrition? Yes. Okay. We have. I think we went up 6 then because the other two were given. Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead, but in the interest of time, please can you be brief?
Yes. The recent time we saw in our country, addressing the matter of security, we saw instances where we had
put your mic close to the mouth so that you're able to speak.
Okay, we saw instances where maize had aflatoxin, sugar had minerals, and that agenda also addressing on good food, food that is standard food that has passed through the test quality also.
Okay, thank you very much. So issues of standard quality of food, which we are getting, is it addressed by the agenda? Is saying security is not complete without that. So when we have all the issues will be raised. Yes, then we are coming to the middle row before we move to the last one here. There are 2 more on here. I noticed the discussion you want to go on, you got it more. Okay. You need to speak up because we want to hear you. Okay. We have rapporteurs who are taking up notes.
The government is doing so much. And there may be the doctors for much we work out. So how the government will prepare for such matters?
I don't know what I got you clearly. What was the issue?
Is the agenda of ensuring school? There may be other branch emergency. How can we ensure that the government is well as much as we are ensuring the people agenda? How will it be prepared to scratch the emergency? There must be this.
Yeah, so if I may just put that, if I got to hear about how we are going to handle other emergencies, but the next question you asked about what emergencies within the food or emergencies outside the food concept. If you're talking about emergencies where food is required, is that what you're talking about? Where, how do we handle emergencies where food is required? Okay, if that's right. I think that's the issue I'm saying is saying that's no food security for that. Yes, I say, can we have one more here and one here because of limits of time? Remember, we have other presentations to be made. The mic. Okay, what's that? The one who has the mic, right? It doesn't want to use it. Go ahead. So stick to the mic, put it directly. Yeah,
The government is doing very developing most of in urban areas where people in rural areas where there are a lot of food stuff. So we find in rural areas there are poor roads, as well the weather is not good, the delay of foods to be delivered in the market, so they get destroyed. So the government should improve infrastructure in the rural to allow the production of food and food
I think the point is clear that we need to address the issue of infrastructure. So people in food security tell us is that within the plan of government that for us to be able to the rural areas or the other plantations we talk about, they're able to transport the food which has been produced by the farmers to reach the markets. And also to prevent use of the post-harvest losses.
Hello. So my question is the panel. We all know that we have a forthcoming election and also an amendment of the constitutional referendum. And also we have this for the big four agenda. So how is the government prepared to handle these things? Because we all know that we have a vision, the vision 2030 that we should reach. So all these require money, and we see that if we don't have enough money, we'll be putting the citizens to more losses instead of actually helping the citizens. So is the government really prepared to deliver the big four agenda and an election in a referendum?
Wow, that's a big question. And you all have to respond to that. Starting approach, do you think these other agenda are going to affect the delivery of the agenda you have? So that's a question we will cut across. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this discussion can go on and on. I can see hands, and I'm happy to see hands, but I don't have time. I can see more hands, but I don't have really time. But I can promise you we are coming back to you if we may have an opportunity. Let the panelists respond to one or two questions. You don't have to respond to everything, but try to respond to these issues which have come up. Then we have perhaps the closing remark from your end. Before I ask two more questions, we finish this discussion. So you have seen a number of issues have come out. Maybe you can respond to issues of subsidy and smart.
Okay, I would like to respond to the first question: how can subsidies be effective in the attainment of literacy? And if you look at the health sector in Kenya, it is heavily funded by donors and other parties. We have the USA, the Malaria Initiative, and all other programs. So, how can subsidies be effective? I think by prioritizing on the key areas. Like right now, there is decentralized or devolving payments. So, by partnering with the county governments, the government will structure its funding and other donation programs to what truly is effective for aid in the different areas. Okay. Also, the second question: what incentives can the government put in place to start industrial activities, right? I would like to propose improvement for infrastructure because a lot of times during the strikes, doctors have complained about there not being enough materials, resources, and other tools. So improvement of infrastructure is key. Then we have to develop like some sort because industrial action is always talking about consultative forum of the government. So if the government will come up with a medical service solution, which could serve to periodically review the health care service in Kenya and propose even measures even before take the solution or not the solution, but some complaints from the doctors and the other healthcare service workers so that they can be mitigated upon even before it gets to the point.
I think that is okay, but as you say that with the policy discussion, we and quickly will have asked you agenda quickly. So medical service commission. Are you saying teachers are okay because they have a teacher service commission? Are you saying public servants are okay because they have public service commission? That's something to discuss. Is for food for thought. So how best and therefore medical service commission is perfect. Say that we are able to deliver issues of bread. I want to jump to manufacturing. Manufacturing, you asked some questions. Maybe you can respond to the issues of SME and startup and areas of focus.
Yeah, there's a question on the startup service. There was a report done by the National Economic Survey, that's under the CPK, which shows that all the businesses in Kenya are made up of 98% SMEs, which create up to 30% of jobs annually, contributing 3% of the GDP. That means we should focus a lot in these SMEs. But again, reports coming up say that most of these SMEs do not make up the 5th year. So they generally die, maybe it's there from the first to the 4th year. And since they contribute to the revenue growth, those coming up should not copy from those that are made. That's why the government should consider educating these people who are starting the SMEs who are coming out so that they can know the market hardships, and as they move on, they have what is there to survive.
Okay, and I know we have SME support around. They will be able to also respond to that. And this is part of the discussion with the other our stakeholders who are here. We will want to quickly have a debate before the presentation. This is still one of this panel is deliver to the hard questions coming from the audience. On food security, there was a question on nutrition and the question of infrastructure. There were so many, but if you give a response to those two, how can we enhance nutrition and also infrastructure?
About nutrition, we want to talk about it, but because of time, we cannot done that. But to talk about it, in Kenya, we have the nutrition application of Kenya that was started in 1988, the authority and resource for promoting efficient and quality nutrition. It calls upon all nutritious people who have understanding about nutrition. Talking on that, there are 3 levels of malnutrition, whereby we have stunted growth, underweight, and overweight. That's obese. Having the full knowledge of which food to take, the nutritional value they have will answer that. Talking about infrastructure, indeed, when people move from the south to towns, they have to eat something. So what they have to eat must be looked into, whereby majority of the foods that we consume in Kenya are from rural areas where there is poor connection of infrastructure. The government should invest much in roads, that being the main means of transport we have here in Kenya, so that the quick transportation of goods from rural areas to town areas. Also, issues with fruits and fish, the perishable foods quickly. Other methods of transportation, such as the airways, can be looked into, whereby they will transport such goods quickly. My colleague will add that.
Okay, go ahead. Big one.
Okay, thank you. On infrastructure, I don't talk about roads, I talk about water infrastructure. Of late, we've seen the Ministry of Environment putting up measures to protect our air, protect some of our areas, our forests. Yeah, I think that's a good move, and it's very, very, very essential in security.
Okay, thank you very much. You have responded to the issue of transport and water, but infrastructure is really wide. Remember, even our farmers also require electricity for them to be able.
The quality of food.
Okay,
there are methods of measures we can use to measure the quality of food, maybe by appearance, by looking to a commodity. You can tell this fruit is rotten or this one is the right one. So people can use that one of appearance to measure the quality of food. Also, in the issue of that one, we have the caves. I think, yeah, the caves. Here in Kenya, the Kenya Bureau of Standards is in place to look at the quality of foods that people consume, among many other.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to move to the next one, but I wanted to add that here, look at, you are able to look at the food when you want to supermarket, for example, look at the date symbol. If that body does not have it, does not be certified. Secondly, expiry date of manufacture and expiry date. You know, market to behave badly. If you buy yogurt, which is in the front of the shelf, the date is different. If you go inside, you will get the other which is fresh. Check that too. Okay, for checking the quality, they put the one expiry date is near closer to there, because you are quickly picking and dropping to your tax. So if you are clever, you just need to go to the one which is behind it. You get the one that just behind. Okay. Now, my panelists from housing, you have some questions, right? Issues of lands and adequate. How can we adequately respond to the housing within this land? That's in the form of setting. Well aware that the affordable housing has two components, affordable, and there's also social housing. So how can we deliver to make sure that everybody is adequately housed? Then the numbers within the household.
And based on the numbers within the household, that is to make sure that everyone is adequately housed. You see, in this project, there is something known as the Mayambu that is a portal whereby you are supposed to log in. If you are looking forward to benefit from the project, you're supposed to log in. Then the details are supposed to enter there. So in those the details they are entering, the information includes the number of people per house in your family in every place. So that during the allocation of the houses, the government will be able to see the number of people in your family and allocate to you a good house.
Okay. Will you add something on that?
As that funding concerning that, the government has come up with this system called Command.go.ke to come and help the citizens to self-service themselves. So for the housing, it's eligible for any person who is over 18 years. So for people who have a large house unit, maybe a large household, and some of the kids or some of the children are over 18 years, they are eligible to the plan. So there are three categories of houses to be built by the government. The one is for people with income less than 20,000. The other one is for people with income between 21,000 to to 60,000, and the rest is for above 60,000. So all categories of people are catered for. And if maybe people living in a slum and maybe the family has some guys who are over 18 years, they are eligible to own houses, bearing in mind that only a portion of their income will go to affordable housing. That is 30%, at least 30% goes to the affordable housing plan. So it's affordable and it can be done even in rural settings.
Okay, I think, thank you very much for that. Unless there is nobody who has a quick comment, we'll be back to the next question, which is perhaps now, we were discussing the big agenda against the COVID-19. Do you think with the pandemic things have changed and therefore we need to do things differently? So I want to give an opportunity from the team, each of you, to respond to that with respect to the question. How has COVID-19 affected the delivery of the agenda?
Yes, thank you. COVID-19, I can say it has affected the delivery of the agenda because when COVID-19 started, many people lost their jobs. So many people who were not covered under it, or people from those countries that were not covered under EHC will not afford the medical bills so that they can save their lives. Then again, it crews stigma between citizens and even medical officers, whereby when someone gets to the hospital, the medical officer notices that he has some symptoms just like those of COVID-19. At the times, it could be avoided or no one could attend to him, or maybe he just had pneumonia or asthma. So you could find such a person risking his own life that he or she has no COVID-19. Then another thing, just because of COVID-19, I think the government, the government came to know some gaps in medical sectors, whereby, for example, when Nairobi was under containment, many people from rural areas could not afford or could not access medical, or could not access Nairobi hospitals. So you find that the hospitals in the rural areas were not having enough equipment for treatment. Then you find that many counties had no ICU beds or had no enough space. So the government came to know that we have to build a hospital so that we have to care for all our citizens. We need to add more ICU beds in our hospitals in rural areas than dealing with only town areas. Then the government also came to realize that we have little labor force in the hospitals. When many people could go to the hospital to be treated or to be checked on COVID-19, you will find that many hospitals came crowded. So, and with the few medical doctors, so they could not be attended to at the right time.
How COVID has affected the realization of
put the mic closer to the mouth so that everybody is speak.
So most of our programs have been being funded with foreign governments, which has to now withdraw and direct some of those funds into funding their own containment measures for COVID-19. And COVID has presented an interesting challenge, whereby it also makes us to rethink our healthcare system, not only as to react to pandemics or to react to catastrophes that happen, but also to kind of shadow them and to even prevent future pandemics. Well, I think that because we can leverage technology right now, the world over there is a rethink of how we disseminate our healthcare services. Most people and most hospitals are focusing on telemedicine as a system of administering care. Then you have other wearable technologies that are coming in also play a part in managing sick care patients who are at home. Most of them suffering from maybe like diabetes and other ailments. So,
okay, thank you very much. That's for you, Nancy. Now, what about food security?
In food security, COVID-19 has been a trying moment, whereby it has obstructed the supply chain from production, distribution, processing, and marketing of foods. I know of a case where one lady was arrested in her farm for not wearing a mask. Is that not an effect? Yeah, it is. She was arrested, then taken to the set. Then later, she was saying now that this government is doing something. So many others in the production sector were affected, such as being arrested and many other issues. Those also distributing these foods due to the lockdowns, they had no way to reach these goods to the consumers, especially those in towns. The processing ones also are affected in ways that the raw materials, which are being removed from the rural areas to towns where normally there are industries, food would not reach. Consumption, some foods were not being bought during the COVID time up to today, maybe due to price shocks. Some prices which usually were low had to rise, and those that were high had to fall. So all those have affected to this far a farmer. Also to talk about the social distancing in the markets led to the decrease in the number of market participants. Those who are allowed to enter the market stores were few. On that, also the security officers destroyed a number of agricultural products, especially tomatoes and all that. For those who are found not follow the MOH rules, were being thrown maybe to the rivers next to the market, and that one. Difficulties for farming, since farmers were unable to reach the farms and to get the farm inputs. That one also has brought a big effect. On the same, due to COVID, a number of people were their houses, and they were told that exercises can help to fight COVID. So majority turned to farming. So you found many having their jembes, trying to dig deep around their farms. I think that's a positive effect to us as farmers.
So
Yeah, my colleague will talk something.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time, maybe you can reach quickly, because we have only 5 minutes before the next presentation.
In addition to social distancing, it led to the reduction of operating hours of food markets and the closure of some markets. A good example is Kongoya Market in Mombasa. On restrictions, it led to farmers not access their inputs and it affected the transportation of their markets.
Okay, I think that's great. With this, you brought up issues of supply chain disruptions, consumption patterns, and also issues of the price shocks and access to the inputs that could be real. So we need to rethink on that and how to go ahead. Now, what about affordable housing? Any disruption or shocks the market has received from the COVID-19?
All right. From the effect of COVID-19, it disrupted the whole supply chain, that is of the economy. So the cost of construction went high because a house, there is cement, there is windows which are made by the Jua Kali, their tiles, their mabati. So with the cost of construction rising with COVID-19, since the supply chain is disrupted, it really affected the affordable housing agenda.
Yeah, and also increase in prices of commodities like food made the citizens to have to choose between selling for the affordable housing project or buying food. And also the reduction in tax also led to the reduction in allocation of the funds for the project.
Okay, thank you for that. There are brought two key issues that the housing, because of housing went up, because of the disruption of supply chain. So those who had the materials to sell, their prices would go up. But also, it's also disrupted our saving patterns. You have to choose between saving for housing or buying food. Yeah. So what about manufacturing? Has it been affected?
Under manufacturing, COVID-19 has affected the realization of the agenda. That is, more people have lost their jobs and they are still losing. Contrary to the one of its goals, that is creating 1 million jobs. Then another thing, under agro-processing, since people are losing jobs and agro-processing under manufacturing seeks to create 200,000 jobs. So COVID-19 has slowed down the rate at which the agenda has to be realized. Then again, it has reduced the rate at which national projects are conducting. For example, the Tatu Residential City and Gonza Techno City up to now have not been 100% completed, but the progress, the rate of the progress has become slow due to COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, you have something to add? Yeah.
With COVID-19 saw the reduction of international flights affecting the whole industry. At first, there was no international travel. So all the people working in the air sector were affected negatively. And that is a negative achievement for the agenda of creation of at least 1 million jobs. And this reduction of international travel affected the processing sector, where we saw products like tea and coffee stuck in warehouses, leading to low payments at the end of the year.
Okay, I think you have had that, but most of you, not one, who are basically giving us most likely the negative. Do you think there is something positive? I want to put to the audience now. Do you think there is anything positive COVID has introduced to the core agenda? We have less than 5 minutes to get it. I think I had 10 there. And as we do that, my panelists, I want you to tell us how can we leverage on technology to deliver the big agenda. That will be the flow, as you will give your closing remarks. Now back to the audience. Do we have anything positive you think we have received on the agenda? Anything positive which we have? Somebody with a mic? Meanwhile, I also wanted to welcome members of the faculty and our guests. If you have anything to advise our guests, our panelists on the presentation, what they can say. Meanwhile, we'll also have questions from online. Who has the mic? Brian?
Yeah.
Who has the mic?
Good afternoon, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Okay, for me, I think the positive effects of the Big Four agenda is up to where the government has reached in the affordable housing project. We can see that the houses that have been built are helping some of the people, and as more are being built, more people will be also helped, despite the fact that it's taking a lot of time and the speed is not the one that we can want. Thank you.
Okay, within is a dialogue of affordable housing, but with respect to COVID-19, do you think there's anything which we have planned for the big four. So friend, you can give that. Okay, let me see the hand side that we can know. So there are two hands at the front here and also at the back. And there are two more. One from the alumni and the other one from that one has asked. Anybody else from this side? I will still give you the opportunity.
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Gere from School of Health Science. And regardless of the effects of COVID-19, I think on part of health, it has, on universal health, it has created a big milestone because the government saw the need for investment on health. And now that all the counties are prepared for COVID-19, it means that when the time that the COVID-19 won't be there, those resources that were invested in those counties will still be there.
Okay, another point if you have.
On part of sanitation, it means that if people are sanitizing their hands, they're washing their hands regularly, it means that the diseases which are waterborne and which are contaminated by hands and food, they are going to be eradicated. So I think for me, in part of health, somehow the COVID-19 has created a big impact.
Yes, wafanyakazi wa health wamesema wameshukuru sana. We can now sanitize and wash our hands. Yes. A big one.
On a positive note, I'm responsible for the school officers. On a positive note of the team, it has brought the online marketing has increased. Like now we have some good vegetables, some heads, we want to set on social media, and then you can get fired.
Okay.
Number two, just online users. Like now there was a creation of a national number where if in the village there's someone who is sick, you can call that number for you to be accepted or get treatment. That was supposed to not be supposed.
Yes, we have another. There's less 2 points that we are able now to access market through an online, and also most of us in the rural have been linked to issues with the medical practitioners and so on. Where do we have? Yes, go ahead. Your name? First.
My name is Paul.
Okay, go ahead.
Concerning employment, like we've seen doctors have been absorbed, and doctors were being absorbed also on contracts, and also in the charity sector, with the kind of people in those workshops are very important to contact them and that could be used by students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, she has seen that some locality people are given contracts. These jobs have also been created because we need now more staffing for us to be able to give the service, public service. Yes.
Good afternoon. So what I can say, COVID-19 has taught us number one to save the rainy days, and number two, as the government, the disaster preparedness and mitigation measures, mostly in the health sector and also in other sectors.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Maybe the last one. Last one will be at the front here. Yes.
I'm Kisii again. COVID-19 has been a blessing in disguise. There's a development of Kippra in Kippra County, where it was able to produce more than 100,000 pieces of masks in a day, which it has also created job opportunity. We also remember there was also this primary kit that developed hand washing machine using the woods. That idea can be bought in the manufacturing sector. Even the AU students, they also helped in developing of the breathing machine also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe the last one. I know you have all this discussion. Please join us online. Post your points, post your comments and your questions. We are going to have them read here. Okay, I propose that that should be the last comment from the audience.
Hello, I'm Ken Wangi, School of Socials, being criminology. Okay, when COVID came into our country, first of all, we saw some of the workers, when you go to in some companies, security firms, walifutwa kazi. So from there, they turned into doing agricultural activities, for example, others wakaenda kupata mahindi, and then from there, from the television, we saw that there were some people at the roads who were selling the stuff like agricultural products like pineapples, mangoes. From this, we can see that this increased the rate of good production in our country, and then it reduced the rate of dependency at the government. And
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe now I can get an opportunity for us to link with our people who have been online. Do we have some burning comments coming from there before our panelists get to finalize?
Yeah, we do have a couple of comments from online. Someone named Feather saying it is quite ironic that the government has input food security among its big four agenda, yet sadly enough, the nation is unable to feed its citizens. According to recent statistics, relying heavily of external aid to sustain nutrition, the government, however, has not put inadequate effort in upscaling agriculture by initiating and sustaining incentives that will improve food production and secure food security. Policies were drafted and rolled out. So policies were drafted and rolled out. Where is the hitch here? Were the policies not good enough? Or are there problems in implementation? If so, what is a sustainable solution towards this?
That's enough for that. Maybe we can jump to another one.
The second one is manufacturing as a big four agenda is focused in making the GDP contribution to 15% by 2022. Is this percentage attainable given the disruptions caused by COVID-19?
Yeah, I think that's clear. Another question?
We need to focus on our balance of payment deficit as a country. What strategic measures have been put in place by the manufacturing sector to correct this deficit, which is about 10.2% currently? Those three.
Okay, thank you very much. For those who have joined us online, your views have been heard, and we are going to respond from here. Our panelists will respond to the food security, where are we able to achieve this with all these elements of external aid and so on. Are we able to get 15% of manufacturing contributing to our GDP by 2022? That's next year. And the balance of payment, I don't know who can respond to that. I think it was linked even to the first element of additional balance of payment. I think we'll respond to it. So thank you very much for your participation, and you can see a number of issues which have come out. Now I want to give the panelists an opportunity to just say one word or what they want and respond to the questions. As you do that, please tell us how can we leverage on technology to deliver your agenda as you close.
Okay. As far as the big four agenda is concerned, we tackle manufacturing, and the role of technology in manufacturing, as I can say, is the automation of factory or factory processing system. That is for, as far as COVID-19 is concerned, now more people are working from their home. They're using their computers and mobile phones as their offices. There's need of more automation in factories so that to reduce the congestion of labor or manpower in the factory, so that at least to abide by the rules and regulations of the Ministry of Health, that is social distancing.
Okay, maybe you can give your colleague who's the one to go around as you respond.
Yeah. In using technology, new methods of production can be applied in agro-processing. we have seen the government through the Ministry of Agriculture training people on how to come up with gardens in the dense populated areas of application. So that can be adopted in every home state to ensure that Kenya is food secure, so that money that they cannot earn at just the moment to buy food, and actually they can actually get food right from their places where they stay.
Okay, maybe Nadia on housing.
On affordable housing, technology is playing a major role and it's helping in making the work go faster. The machineries that are used in construction, like the 7 meters, make the work to go faster compared to if they were just people doing the work themselves. Then the computers are used for data collection to monitor the progress of the work.
So technology also is used by the Ministry of Urban Planning by leveraging on web technology. They have developed a housing protocol for mayangu.go.ke, and this has led to many Kenyans appreciating and signing up for the same. Approximately right now, according to mayangu.go.ke, over 300,000 Kenyans have signed up, and they have shown interest in the same. So that's one use of technology. Another use of technology, the government can outsource some computer simulation models in which they can build these houses efficiently in the required places, and to avoid future disruptions, maybe due to drainage, and also leveraging on computer simulation. The houses will be built in such a way that the air circulation will be good, bearing in mind that the population is growing, and air circulation is one of the problems facing urban places. So that's another use of technology. Technology can also play a role in making the affordable housing agenda known to the masses, especially the Kenyan people who make up a large percentage of the population. This can be done through social media, especially by bringing some brand advertisers or influencers to make the affordable housing agenda known to the masses through the use of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, where most young people go to view their content there. So,
Thank you for that. And now, food security, how do we consume technology?
Everything requires technology as well as food. In many countries where technology is in place, all aspects of farming from land preparation, soil and water management, wood management, pest and post-harvest activities such as packing and selling must have an efficient technology. And by this, like the case of water harvesting, this water can be used for irrigating. Like Israel is a deserted country, but they have embraced technology by irrigating most of their lands. And sad enough, Kenya will import maize from Israel. We can also have technology providing basic and extra food choices to vulnerable populations. Some foods are perishable very fast. So instead of transporting those foods, you can use technology, maybe to blend and make juices so that they can be transported easily to far distant people. Technology has also helped to restore political stability in a country, whereby it creates much employment opportunities. So these technologies also require manpower, and those experts in them find job opportunities. Also, we can have innovative ideas by having or relying on e-commerce platforms, whereby we can order, buy and sell food. That's what I can talk about.
Yes, maybe before we move, you have something, no?
Yes. Adding on technology, the role of technology, I want to put it on enhanced surveillance system to be adopted by the country. This could be through the adoption of new and current meteorological systems and ways. It is really disheartening to a farmer who is tilling his land, but the meteorological forecasting is very wrong. It's really leads to a loss of loss making and yeah. And the other way it is through enhanced surveillance system. It is through the mitigation of things like weather pattern, pests and diseases. Give an example of locusts. Locust is not just wake up one day. These things are migrating. And if you really had the best technology, we could have mitigated such losses to the occur by such things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What about you, HC? Anything on technology which you can leverage as a country?
Okay, thank you.
Just as other agenda needs technology for their success, and so as universal health coverage does. I think the government should come up with an application or a system whereby health records of a patient are contained therein, so that when a patient is out of his county of registration and moves to another county, doctor can access his health records for those patients who have diseases that they have to live with them. So when they are sick or when they are overpowered by the disease, a doctor in another health facility or in another county can access his health records.
I think the point is clear. This is integrated record system.
Another thing, government should have its own chemist with online access, whereby doctors or patients can buy drugs online and be delivered to them easily.
Okay. I would like to add on borrowing from the way Beyond Zero mobile clinic works. I think also we could have partnerships between the government and the private sector, in which healthcare is administered through mobile clinics. Like you have 40% of all hospital visits in Kenya. It's basically for consultative purposes. We could have maybe like a clinical officer who can address such a shortage in places which are not served by adequate hospitals or health services. They could use this mobile clinic to deliver those services there. Also, from the sites like M-Daktari and M-Dawa, we could digitize our hospital booking services and also consultation purposes, so that you don't have to go to the hospital for you to be seen by a doctor. You don't have to go to the hospital for you to be addressed, but you can also access the same services via online.
Okay, I think thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are closing on this. I just wanted to give an opportunity if anybody who has word of advice to our panelists. We can have an opportunity now. Okay, so I think now that we don't seem to have any, so I want to welcome, I want to thank my panelists for doing quite intensive research on the issues we have raised. It's quite amazing that students at your level, you are able to interrogate this agenda and bring the issues as they have said. I also want to thank the audience and the members of those of us online for your active participation. I think we have had a healthy and effective discussion among ourselves and also the panelists. I think with that, that's the spirit we want to encourage going forward. And I want to thank you all for this debate. And the debate never stops. We can continue discussing these issues offline. And we hope that through this forum, we are able to contribute to our public policies at any level and so on. And we hope that the next time we'll have more participation going forward. And thank you very much. So I think now I wish to allow my panelists to go back to their seats as the scouts are coming to set up our podium because we are having presentations. And I've heard people say lunch. There's nothing good like supper. There's nothing better than supper. If you've never known, supper is the best meal. So no, We have organized for that. We'll ensure that you have your lunch and so on. I think we have a few sessions remaining, which we can quickly finalize. We are setting up. I want to welcome Daniela. Daniela has a song. Daniela wants to speak. Is she around? Yes, Daniela, you can come and make your presentation. As the scouts are helping us set up the stage, please. Scouts, umechoka pia? Okay, let me present this. Okay, after this, I think our colleagues from the National Vision, the Vision 2030, will request that they will make a presentation tomorrow. So I think we are going to move to the next presentation. So we will have SME support and also the Youth Enterprise Fund, and also Pastor make the presentations. But in between, we have some entertainment. Starting with this, we also have some team playing some guitar around, move there around. And we will also have a spoken word as the SME support is organizing. Then we have their presentation. Okay. So Daniela, the stage is yours.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Hello guys. I'm going to present a song focusing on national values. My name is Daniela Mwende from the School of Health Science. We all talk of national values, we all talk of security, we all talk of peace, independence, but we all have a fair share of this. We don't. So I have created this song focusing on the voice that is in the shadow, the voice that cannot be heard by many. Hear the birds, feel the pain, see the tears trickling down my cheeks. I can hear the sweat, I feel them pierce, I see them kill with no mercy. And oh Lord, where are you? Our country's almost dying away. Oh Lord, where are you? When all these things keep on happening, hey, 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 please come to my aid. Can hear the screams, can feel the torture, can see the fire burning, can you wait? Can see her eyes, so full of mercy, her heart so passionate, but no one who cares. Who were the people with the love that wants to stand and something to share? Hey, 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 please come to my aid. And see the scripts with so many illnesses. Please say come and go and breathe. All this man is meant to free. So much to bear, but no one gives a care. Not a share here there. One day just nothing stands here. Can hear the screams with so many illnesses. Please say come and go and breathe. All this man is meant to free. So much to bear, but no one gives a care. Not a share here there. One day just nothing stands here. Hey, 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 hey. end this prayer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will come to your aid. We will care. We will feed you. You have made us cry. And you are supposed to laugh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adela, for that song. We have the spoken word. Then we'll have a poem. Spoken word first. Can we have the next singing? Yes, sir. Oh, okay.
Hakika ya bendera ni udhabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani, daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo.
I have a dream, one from whose slumber I hope not to awaken. The dream of a parallel timeline, a better Kenya, a safe haven. In my dream, you need not be born of a rich father for you to take your life a little bit further. The fit of your dress or the weight of your wallet does not determine who gets to love last. The leaders, well, I see leaders who love their nation more than a quench for powerless. A Wanjiku who is more a giver than a taker.
Unity our song, unity our strength. I see a nation with people who are simply Kenyans. No dark skins, no light skins, no walls on which tribe is better. People being people no matter the agenda. Leaders having unity in mind and a reflection of it in their agenda.
In my dream, I see an alternate reality, free from the shackles of tribalism, free from the controls of dirty politicians always thirsty. Behold, I see a state governed by the rule of law, justice be our shield and defender. A system where the scales of equity are free from the dictates and controls of our history. I close my eyes, and in my sleep, I see a nation led by leaders and not politicians. I see better roads. I see better healthcare. I see enough schools to mentor tomorrow's leaders of our great nation. I close my eyes, and in my sleep, I see a united Kenya with the Constitution as its backbone and the torch of integrity forever burning, never to be put off.
Because old is gone, and this new Kenya is gold. We are no longer identified as hunters and gatherers, or farmers, or pastoralists. We are a nation whose economy depends on every individual. We are a nation striving to be better. We are a nation moving, stumbling on the block of discrimination, blinded by corruption. And until we realize that kindness is not entirely fair, that by employing a brother, or a friend, or a cousin for a job they are not qualified for, we are the walls blocking this nation from its development. We realize that choosing leaders is not about tribe or popularity, but the leader's ambition to lead this nation towards its vision. When we realize that it is our responsibility to take care of our nation and everything in it, then From inclusivity emerges great ideas, and that transparency and accountability is every individual's responsibility. Then, and only then, will we have developed to be travelers traveling by the same bus. For we are a nation that has come from far. We are a nation headed to a different far. Yet this far we've come, we can confidently say, this far we've come.
My eyes have been shut for too long. It's time to awaken to this new dawn and make this dream come true.
I dreamt of a nation like this, a nation with people having dreams for it.
Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo.
Thank you very much. As you can see, we have a lot of talent around. One last presentation by John. John, who has a poem.
Beloved, but before that, I am John Airizu. I am an author of poet, Naglaid. I recently published the first book, and it relates to the love of women. I will sing, I will stand and sing to my love. She is the most beautiful woman I've ever met. The one who has the lips of gold and eyes of silver. She is the one I die for. The woman who the sun, the stars, and the moon brightens in her eyes. The woman I love. She is a woman of dignity. A woman so transparent that you can see the other side of her. She is a woman so accountable. The woman I always think about. The woman who gave me a sense of belonging. The woman who accepted me the way I was. The woman so equitable. The woman with equality. The woman I will die for. The woman I live for. And the woman is Kenya.
Thank you very much. I think somebody was thinking he was talking about you. I'm sorry. He was talking about Kenya. And that is the power of creative arts and the performing arts. I am happy for him. He has said he has written a book which will soon be launched. John, I think we wish you all the best. And now I think we have been entertained. We want to have the other sessions running quickly as we proceed. We have heard from the students, we have heard from the other speakers, and the other element which we have in our campus program is that we want to link students with the industry players, with the sector players, with the policy makers. So some of these policy makers are amazed us. So we are going to give them opportunity to present so that when you finish school, even before you finish school and you have a good idea, you know which door to knock and how you can be assisted. So at this time, I think I want to invite the same SME support to make their presentation. I know it is ready there. The scouts, can we have somebody help us set up that? So she will tell us who she is and to make her presentation. Thank you very much. Welcome, madam. Can use this.
Hi everyone, how are you? Sure, I stand behind you once in thank you for having us here. My name is Salim. I'm here representing SME Support Center by the way of being asked. When I sit in the Association of Startup Enablers and SMEs Kenya, the body that speaks one voice for all the hubs, accelerators, VCs who support tech-enabled startups in Kenya. And then two, I also build software. I'm a software maker, so I spend a lot of time doing policy doing that. SME Support Center is aimed at growing many micro and SME businesses become Fortune 500 companies. And they do this by providing different levels of support. And the kind of support that they're providing is if you have a company or a business and you need some financial support, or you need to help with fundraising, or you need to be able to identify different relevant capacity support within your organization, you can reach out to them. At the end of the presentation, I'll be sharing email contacts for this thing. All right. So innovation, policy, entrepreneurship, and the Big Four agenda. In 2017, when the president first announced the Big Four agenda, all of us are wondering, what about all the other promises that were done? But it's really interesting to see how that has evolved up to now. So we're looking at 4 different areas. We're noticing that every year in the budget cycle, there's money being allocated and resources in those specific 4 areas. So I'm sure if you're an innovator or thinking about entrepreneurship, you're asking, how can I tap in? What's out there? What are people doing? I want to start first by just looking at a few working definitions of innovation. What does innovation mean for you? Or how would you define innovation? Have you ever thought of yourself as an innovator? I don't know, let's start there. Have you ever thought of yourself as an innovator, even when you fix a little problem in the house or here in the school, or you're thinking of something that's bugging you but you want to address it in a creative way? Would you consider yourself an innovator when you're solving that specific problem? Yes, no? You can have the yes to raise their hand. All right. So we're going to look at why innovation would be necessary. So let's consider for the thing. So there's many schools of thought, and I was trying to bring out something that I came across as I was looking into this area. One, there are some who think that innovation is not about making new inventions, but rather it's about recognizing how to take advantages of opportunities and changes. I think Kenya is very popular with being known as Kenyans are go-getters. Kenyans know how to innovate their way out of a problem. And so when you think about that framing of innovation, here this mindset is saying it consists of you organizing changes in a structured way and analyzing the opportunities that are coming out so that you might be able to develop something new out of those structured changes. That's one way of thinking about it. I like the second definition better. Another way of looking at innovation or business innovation is whenever you're making something new or you're improving an existing process to make it better. And this can include anything from a new way of building a product, a new way of building a service, or a new way of improving the way things are done. When you're doing that, you're considered an innovator. So anytime you're trying to find a new way of improving a business, you're definitely in the business of innovation. Right. So now we can go into the Big Four agenda, and I think we'll spend most of the morning going through the 4 areas. I really enjoyed the presentation from the students on the different perspectives of how Big Four works, and the gaps, and even the questions that were raised from the audience. So one, there's a focus on food security. 2, a focus on affordable housing. 3, a focus on manufacturing. And 4, a focus on affordable healthcare for all. You might ask yourself, what does this look like? And why is it necessary? In 2012, I was doing some research in the water sector, and Kenya is generally known as a water-starved country, right? Which means we don't have enough water for irrigation. I think from my home area in Bui, I know when we plant, we rely on the rains because there's not enough water for us to dwell in irrigation projects, right? And so many years, many times we have failed harvest. And whenever, if you were, this is my age, if you were there in the 19th, there was a time we went through some extreme farming, right? And of course, it's raining in Nairobi, it's raining here, but we get extreme rain you'll notice the price of food even in the supermarket is going really high. So for our country to be food secure, there are several things we need to start thinking about early. And there's a lot of research out there. You guys are also going to do some research for campus programs on different sectors. And one of the sectors that we really need to look at is food security. How to ensure that our people are fed, that there's staff, that there's enough to keep the population going during the hard times. I like that you said that COVID has taught us to plan for the future, and not just as a country, but even as our own individuals. So then I was looking at, do we have any innovators in the food sector? I have a bias towards tech, so on the tech-based innovators for my presentation, but you can think about innovators in business in general. So today I'll highlight a few examples of innovators who are looking at food from different lenses. So there's a company called Food for Education. If you're on social media, you probably see that quite a bit. If you went to public school like me in your primary school, you'll know that sometimes if you didn't carry like a packed lunch, you could go hungry, right? So this innovator, she focused on the fact that hungry children can't learn very well. And so what she did is she set up a kitchen and she started feeding kids in schools. And her organization is called, no, I think this will be the previous slide. Her organization is called Food for Education. And she started with a few meals, and now she's at 30,000 meals a day, right? So now children in different public schools across the country are fed. And when kids are fed, then they're able to concentrate a little bit more and focus in class and probably better. I mean, it's not the traditional innovation, but it's innovation in itself. One of the things I've learned from building education applications is sometimes when we provide things for free, a little bit of time to keep it sustainable. So another thing she did was some little watches for kids, and she enabled them to take the number for them. When their parents they will show up a little money, so that every time the child goes to get food, they can tap. A little money is debited from their account, and then they get the meal. So she said it's a very, very affordable fee, but somehow she has now built a system, right? Because now that solution have to eat enables a lot of kids to pay a small fee to appreciate the meal that they're getting, and then they get the meals for school. Another innovator, and that's just one example in the food sector. I'll cover several more later on. Another innovator, how many of you know that plastic is such a big problem, right? We're struggling with how to make the environment clean and safe. I know in Kenya we passed a few laws outlawing some certain kinds of plastic use. So the innovator in Jambi, she found a way to make bricks with plastic, right? And these are, she's recycling plastic and making bricks that they can use for construction, finding a way to remove the plastic from the environment in a better way. So that's an example of an innovator who's looking at a different way of solving the manufacturing problem, but at the same time addressing climate change problems in the industry. I can go to the next one. Someone asked about health, and I'm very happy they gave an example from my dad. Where's this? Yeah, so another thing that's usually a problem is sometimes you don't have a physical capacity to get to a pharmacy and you want to be able to order the medicine you receive from the doctor. So here is an innovator who has focused on providing a delivery service for medicine where you can get your prescription filled and get stuff delivered. And I'm very happy for us as women, especially sometimes, even during just cycles of ours, there are other innovators, not just like Dawa, but there's people like Pasha who are focusing on family hygiene, and we can be able to quickly order stuff we get delivered without facing the embarrassment and stigma that sometimes we face when we go to the malls to buy sanitary equipment. So a lot of innovators are building different innovations around health and the same. Every time I looked up food innovation, the thing that came up was a lot of agri-tech innovators. But you'll notice now that trend with food security is not just building innovations that help you mark where food is sourced, but there's innovations around helping farmers generate and secure their crops, so there's insure tech for farmers. There's innovations around financing, because it's very expensive to farm, to require a lot of capital that they're invested in the land or planting. So now people are making it financing Other than that, fertilizer is important. We'll notice in the government's report that they're making it easier to find more information around which fertilizer is good, healthy. Even places where you can purchase some fertilizer, so there's people innovating around that. So around food security, again, you find a lot of agri-tech innovation. For those of us who like hardware as well, people are building drones and using drones for farming to be able to track the large parts of land, and also monitor their yields. So people are innovating. The question is, how do you find all this innovation to big for agenda? Other examples of innovators. So I talked about Mozambique turning plastic into alternative products. Kila mahali ukiangalia Kenya, there's construction happening, right? Do you ever wonder how those people keep track of the supplies and paying the workers, because the workers are paid on a daily basis? So there's now innovative building software. One example is ManPro, that's helping people in construction sites manage their construction projects and also keep track of their schedule and timeline. If you were looking for a house, I'm sure now whenever you're Googling or looking for 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom or looking for a house anywhere, you'll find hundreds or several websites providing the same service. I'll give you an example of one, the village, helps you find for living spaces. Other than the food for education, who have the time to eat innovation, there's Unitech, which is considered a food innovation, a food tech innovation, because they're helping farmers manage pests and diseases in their farms by providing them with the relevant information. There's Timber connecting B2B platform, a platform connecting farmers to urban retailers. 10 years ago, one of the other applications that was existing in the market was M-Farm. If you plant and you harvest food from your farm, it's very hard to find a buyer without interacting with middlemen. So now there's technology helping you to do the same. One of the things that I find is the government provides information on the best pricing for your crops or your products, but because some of us don't know where to look, we don't find this information. So I like that now innovators and researchers are finding easier ways to create interdisciplinary the information that is sometimes buried in PDF reports, which is easy to digest platforms. In case I have lost you, you can wait, but here I'm just focusing on just giving some examples of innovations and ways you can innovate. Another thing that the problem is we're seeing a lot of roads being built, and one of the things that's important, especially if you're in dairy or even moving very I think what's next. More examples of innovation. There is so many people in the health space, and I'm very happy that every year we're seeing growth of health solutions because Kenya we have many problems and health is one of them. And so today I want to give a few examples of some of the people who are innovating in the health space, right? When you find an accident or when you see someone having leak on the road, this is the die example, but it's real, right? Do you have the number for an ambulance in your phone? How many do? That's really good for us to do because it's so important. Most of the time we find people have been knocked down on the road and being Kenyans who walk away or go in the crowd and just watch them. Now there's easier ways because you're afraid of the cost. You take someone to the hospital, you do the day, there's all that stuff, right? But there's gotta be an easier way. Don't see on TV 911 in America or other foreign countries. There's gotta be an easier way for someone to access healthcare in the event of emergency. And so, an example of one such company is there, providing ride hailing. The same way you use Uber, same way you call it Uber for ambulance, to be able to get someone immediately. Again, I mentioned this before, issues on sexual and reproductive health, fertility, your hormones, your periods for women, or even for men who want to support their sisters or their relatives who are female. That information can be a little bit embarrassing to go up to someone and ask them some questions. So people are building bots where you easily go ask a question and get an answer for the same solution. They're reducing the stigma, increasing more information awareness, and at least making it a little bit easier to access information around this. There's a lot of mobile clinics, depending on where you come from. One of the biggest problems from when the constitution was changed in 2010 was it's our right, according to Article 5, I think, of the constitution, to get access to our medical information whenever you're switching care, right? From one county to another, from one country to another. However, the gap is the doctor can't give you your records like they can in America. The doctor has to give the other doctor. So already the constitution provides for you to be able to get access to your medical records. However, the details around it are still a gap. So one thing I like, the gap then was there was no conversation around that one. We don't have a unique identifier, an index number, ID number, passport number, driver's phone number. There's no one unique number that identifies you. You have to match my records. And of course, in every hospital, we give you like a medical number, so there's gaps, right? And so one of the things we're seeing is a lot of innovators right now building solutions for record keeping for even small clinics. Well, this is really to solve the administrative problems in those companies, but in the larger scope of things, it will make it easier when we have to harmonize the data collection and data movement around. Of course, it's also very important to keep the data on not secure because it's such private information. So there's a gap there for any innovators in the space, building solutions that can help address that. Again, for people in the surgical field, we're seeing for a long time, and we're very happy when we ask what fast tracks digital innovation in the company. We say in one way or another, as much as COVID is bad, it fast track digital transformation in many companies, and I'm sure in government as well. And the reason for this is this: a lot of people were hesitant to use technology. Telemedicine, where a doctor can treat you remotely, was not very popular for a long time because people didn't really need to work. But now with COVID, where we're all in lockdown and we can't really need it, right? And so then we're seeing a lot more policies moving around that. So some companies like CU Global Health are building a tool to help people be able to navigate surgery. And for people with patients with diabetes, you know, one in every 6 people, if I'm not wrong, has diabetes. It's a lifelong disease. A lot of people have it. They have to manage their care. You know, they have to manage their insulin levels, they have to take records. So we're seeing a lot of technology built just to help the patients manage their care. The biggest problem with that notice in manufacturing, the government is spending a lot of time making it easier for people to do business. If it's easier for people to do business, then it's easier for more people to form companies, more people to hire people, more employment. More employment means there's more money circulating in the economy, and the economy is growing. So some of the things you'll see, and I'll mention just a few government agencies that have been working together for policy around this area, and then I'll look at something we as private sector are doing as well, is if you're a trader trying to track other traders to get information, there's a national e-trade portal, and there's a council, and you can get information around different kinds of trade. There's a platform helping countries share data, especially devolution data. Then one of the things the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Private Sector Enterprise said was launching centralized business information portal for manufacturers is good because it will ease the sector's investment. So if I'm an investor and I'm coming to look into the sector, it's easier to find information. A few years ago, that was 2012, something similar was done in the water sector, where if you have investors coming into the water sector, they want to know which projects are happening in which area. There was a portal that was done by marketdata.go.ke, helping people who are investing in the water sector find information easier. I'm in the edtech space. One of the things that's really, really important for us is one, so many of us are building education and learning solutions. Two, if you want to invest or you want to find a solution, it gets kind of hard. One of the things that I really like, as much as it has some bureaucracy that is being addressed, is the government through the KICD is helping us be able to register our innovations, get them curated and approved for local use, and then they're listed in a centralized place, the Orange Book, where now you can find if you're a school or a head of, or an administrator, you can get the information easily. I could go on and on, but now I want to focus on just one policy that's close to our hearts. So as I mentioned, I've been working in the entrepreneurship space for the last 10 years, and I have had the privilege of working in actual startups and working in hubs, and now supporting from a broader perspective in the Association of Startup Enablers and SMEs. One of the things that we find is there's a lot of help available. All of you are young, there's opportunities to invest. There's probably a problem you've identified, even an innovation that you can help for this whole year. It's really exciting to say that we have hundreds of hubs and accelerator and programs that can help you identify a business idea, identify business partners, get a few skills that can help you innovate and launch your product really quickly. One of the hubs that's available here in Kisii is called Fi Labs. If you go to fielabs.com, you can see a little bit more information of what support they provide to young innovators. And across the country, we have, if you go on the asset.ke or the countrywide hubs site, you can be able to find information on which people, these are mostly private companies, are providing support for young innovators on the same. And it's important because right now there's a focus on the big four, so it means there's a lot of resources available, not just from government, but from private sector investors to support you as you build your innovation in health, in education, in food security, in manufacturing, and any of those prime areas. Next slide. All right, so again, it's terrible to talk about innovation when you don't talk about the steps of innovation or the processes around it. This slide just was trying to summarize all the steps someone goes through from when they're starting and they're little small to when they're really grown and thriving. So ideally, you identify a problem somewhere, and the problem can be an idea or it has potential for scaling.
a task force to help with innovating and providing ideas for COVID. And through that, they set up programs to support entrepreneurs across the country. One of those programs is called White Box, where 150 entrepreneurs across the country are being supported to launch their idea and move it from minimum viable products to scale. So there's help everywhere. And if you don't want to go to them, you can also come to us at SME Support Center. And I'll just leave the contacts up on the screen. So thank you. I don't know if that has helped you much where the problems are, what the policies are. The policy that's really close to us right now, especially for us, is the startup bill. We believe that if young businesses, for startups are different from SMEs in one way or another. We say a startup is a little different, especially for the tech-enabled ones. They're recognized as unique entities requiring some kind of support. And also, we provision in that specific bill that certain steps are taken, including delisting, making it easier for more people, because it's high risk to put your money into something that can die. Many startups die. So then we're saying, oh, there's so many things that can be done to support startups to help them grow from little companies into Fortune 500 companies. We've seen it with companies across the world. I'm really looking forward to see what kind of innovations the students here at Kisii University come up with. And even as we think about the Big Four, think about how you can tap into that existing opportunity. It's a window that's here right now. Next year, or when maybe we have elections, there'll be another window for different kinds of innovations. Between 2017 and now, the innovations that, especially that we're focusing on is on health, security, manufacturing.
So maybe as you are organizing yourself, organize one on your behalf. Huh? Yes. Okay. My first question is, how do I get it? Is that enough? Not, now I have an innovation.
Yes.
How do I process it until it's in your hands? Yeah, so that's question one.
Right.
Any other question?
Well, there's many means. That's the first one. And the many means are there's many programs available that you can tap into, but you can also reach me. My email is up on the screen. However, even here in university, I think if you have a business unit or an ICT unit, you can form ICT groups and clubs and invite some of us to come and speak with you guys and even run short exercises on how you can build a business from zero to thriving. So I'm happy to share more contacts of different organizations, especially near you, because normally I'm based in Nairobi. So if I usually start with who is near you, so I can say Kisii for sure there's 5 labs. If you're going further to Kisumu, there's Tech Hub and other hubs there. If you go slightly to Eldoret, there's Eldo Hub. So there are many organizations providing support for young entrepreneurs on the same. And I'm happy to also reach detail.
Thank you for answering that. I think, Salim, you should know that you are in Kisii. You should take, there's a hub in Eldoret. And which one again?
I started with Kisii. Kisii has 5 labs.
But no, I'm saying the accent.
Yeah.
We only understand a certain.
Oh,
yes. So that's okay. It's in Eldoret. The other one is in Kisii.
So also, if you come to the coast,
yes.
Swahili Box and Swahili Port, if you come to Nairobi,
yes.
we're like 50 of us.
Okay, can we have questions? Can we? Because we have another team presenting. So you can reach the institution through info. They can provide us. They say they have hubs.
You can also contact SME Support Center, and the email is on the screen. And from there, Ida and team can connect you to all the support you need. If you want support directly, they have that. One of the things they're really doing right now is if you're a young business and maybe you don't have the resources to build a website or get your marketing up in order, you can fill in a form that's available on the SME Support Center website and get access to that kind of business support where they help you build the website, they help you get access to marketing. They're running this program for the next 3 years. Another thing they're doing is they're working together with Kippra to be able to provide funding to small and medium-sized businesses. So if you're looking for funding support, that's also available. You can contact SME Support Center.
Yes, that was to be my next question, but you have said it. So what kind of help can you get from SME support? I think you have said quite a number of things there. There's that mentorship, I mean, there's a capacity, there's your funding. So if you have an innovation which fits into what their area of focus for now, bring it out. See, that's what you're saying. Yeah, and then you'll be able to link you and support you, and you see your innovation, you grow it from zero to wherever she's saying. Okay? Yes, anyway, any other question? You can still take your questions when you are settling. Meanwhile, we can have the presentation for you, enterprise fund. Big process.
I have a question.
Yes. You have a question for SME support.
I'm the Bella Tosti from the School of Arts and Social Sciences. I'm asking Madam Sally, for example, I have a project that is still undergoing the project. How can you help me to bring that project out that can help others in society?
What's your project on, if you don't mind sharing?
Plastic gloves. Plastic gloves, plastic drinks.
Okay, and you're trying to use it in the society. Have you tested it somewhere?
Well, I've just made some to the quite.
Okay. So one thing I would say is the fastest way to improve your product, because if the blog is ready and its use case is available, you somewhere where someone can see, make a little video, document it on social media to create more awareness of I've created this is how it works. Comes with, depending on what kind of sensitivity it is, you also might want to protect yourself in terms of not sharing too many trade secrets if it's a patentable idea. But however, you want to create awareness of what it is, you want to test and see if it actually works the way you've envisioned it to work, to have a proof of concept. You can stick it up from there. That helps?
Yes, that helps. So that question, eh? Does that help? Okay. Yes. Yeah, we really don't want SME to go before we see an SME here. I've seen one there. So she has spoken in Queen's language, meaning the simple if you approach the institution, they tell you the conditions. They'll also give you the enabling environment on how to maneuver so that you protect your innovation. Yes. So that that's not stolen. And if it, as she said, if it's what? Patentable. Not everything you can patent, senior. You need to test it, but that there's help somewhere. And that's the reason we are here. Yeah. I know more questions will come. There's another question. Yes?
My name is Marina. I'm going to ask, how can we join your support center?
I would say let's have a chat after this, and I could be able to help share some contacts on the same, and also share because they do a lot of events in different formats, online versus physical. I can also share some of the information on upcoming events that you can participate in. Thanks.
Yes, they are also on the website. They have a website. They'll give you the email. Now you are aware that SME support exists. We are branding them. We are giving them opportunities, so we want to see innovations from Kisii into their info, and they will help you. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for that presentation for your support. Can we That was a wonderful presentation on innovation, policy, big one agenda, and how we can chip in. So you have something, definitely there's somebody from SME support who will hold your hand and direct you as you make your contribution to our country. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, and that's Mr. Samuel Joel, to come and make his presentation. Welcome, sir. So I hope the presentation is up. Friends?
Where else can you get information of that? Just one spot. Apart from Kippra.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. You know, MC Victor, before I start, you are one of the people who took your advice very seriously before we left for breakfast. I think you said that we should take care when we go to take breakfast, because breakfast and lunch was not very far apart. So you told us to be very careful not to overindulge on the breakfast. So some of us went and took a few sips of tea and ignored the mandazis and the eggs as we prepared for lunch. And but we are still good. So thank you so much. My name is Samuel Joel. I'm the credit manager at the Youth Enterprise Fund. Youth Enterprise Development Fund is a government institution actually dealing with the empowerment of youth. And like we are discussing today about policy and policy development, youth cannot actively participate in policy development if they are not empowered. They say a hungry man is an angry man. We cannot actually participate in policy making if we are not empowered as youth. And this is one of the reasons why the Youth Enterprise Fund was formed, so that we avail capital to those youths who may not fit in the formal sector. Because in as much as we are all here hoping that one day we'll get employed in the formal sector, not many of us make it. And they say there is much more money in entrepreneurship than even in the formal sector. The SMEs we are talking about are the ones which are job creators. So Youth Enterprise came into form in 2007. And I don't want to delve so much on the historical perspective, because like I've said, a hungry man is an angry man. And we all know the challenges around the world facing government on issues pertaining to youth. Issues of unemployment, issues of lack of capital. They are well understood, studied all over. And this is the reason why, even as we approach this season of politics, the drivers of all these narratives, the implementers of what Professor was saying in his presentation today, are actually the youth. Because hawana kakitu kwa mfuko. So everything which comes up, they are ready to run with it. So if we empower these youth, if we look at the historical perspective, that's why the Youth Prize Fund came in. You can roll over to the new, the other slide. Because like I've said, there is a problem of unemployment. Let us go a bit fast, because the slides are a bit easy, and I'm taking the forum pro. And again, youth also strive to achieve a lot of independence in what they do, very innovative, like you have been told here by Salem, and they have a lot of energy. And if we utilize all these qualities in the youth way, then we can have a very safe space to live in. Because like today, if we walk out for lunch or breakfast, for example, and you realize that your phone has been stolen, or your laptop, and you are sitting here in this front rows, who will be your first suspect? Ni daktari, ama professor, ama one of the students? You are first careful to answer kusema our students wa Kisii wezi. Isn't it? Because that is the perception which is there amongst the youth, because they have energy, they are hardworking, aggressive, you should engage them so that they are productive in the economy. So, Enterprise Fund, through what we do, we strive to ensure that youth are actively engaged positively. You can move on. And as a youth, I've talked about that. It's one of the Vision 2030 projects. And we have talked about different, and we are anchored in the social pillar under the 2030, Vision 2030. We are also actively involved in the Big Four agenda through the products I'll take you through. Let's go. And for the vision, that's what we can just roll over because I've generally spoken about that. We can go on. The reason I'm actually trying to make this very interactive, that youth issues are very well known to us, and I want really to talk about what we do as a fund and where we can come in actually supporting this initiative with Kippra. A youth enterprise fund actually targets youth who, according to the constitution, Kenyans aged from 15 to 34 years, and youth who are willing to stand or expand their businesses. And we also support youth who want their products or ideas marketed or linked with other businesses, and also we support youth looking for jobs abroad. I will talk more about those mandates. Let's go. And let me quickly start with our main mandate as a fund. And it's actually an interesting topic because when everyone hears about the Youth Enterprise Fund, they think we just do loans. Yes, we do loans. They are part of what we do. They are the main objective of the fund. And we give loans to categories of all new businesses. And to begin with, we have group loans. And the government usually prefers to give loans or grants to groups because by so doing, you reach so many youth at the same time. So the impact is a bit huge when you use groups. And for the fund, our youth groups are usually composed of only 5 members, minimum 5. And you just have to register that group with the social services. And in a group setting, you can get from a minimum of 100,000 to 1 million. And this loan is interest-free, and this loan is security-free. By that I mean, if I give you 100,000 as a group of 5 people, utarudisha ikiwa ngapi? 100,000. And we have seen youth groups in universities utilizing these products so much. We have seen youth in universities forming groups of 5, getting this money, growing to form companies which are winning big tenders with the government and executing them perfectly. So that is group loan. I've said a group of 5 members, a minimum of 100,000 to 1 million, have your group register, interest-free, security-free. Tuko pamoja mpaka hapo. And in the group loans, we give startups. By a startup, I mean a group which has never done any business enterprise. They want to start something, or those who want to expand their businesses. And from the group settings, we have not actually locked out those who are above 34 years. You can be a member of that group if you are above 35 years, 34 years, but you should not hold any leadership position. And also, those above 34 years should not form more than 30% of the composition. That one is clear. For example, if you are 10 members, only 3 should be above 34 years. You sometimes give loans in another setup where we give now to individuals who are not in groups. And remember, in groups, you can take this money to undertake group projects. For example, you have a poultry project, you want to take this money and invest it there. You may also be in a group setting and you want to undertake individual projects. So we give individuals in that group, maybe 2020 or that 30, they invest in their individual businesses. The group just guarantees for that loan. You can give it in those stories. But in individual loans, where now you are not in a group, and we give startups also and business expansion, and the amounts here are a bit high. For individual loans, we give a maximum of 100,000 up to 5 million to an individual youth. And by an individual youth, I mean that you can be a sole proprietor, a company, a partnership, all forms of businesses. Those are individual businesses. And that range from 100,000 to 5 million. But we can adjust upwards based on the need and the ability to repay. For example, if you need an asset worth 10 million, and we see that you are able to pay that money, we can adjust that amount up. So for individuals, because you can see even the amount involved, we have introduced a small aspect of interest, again, which is the lowest in the market. We introduced an interest of only 6% per year for all individual loans. And these loans can be used in businesses cutting across all the sectors. You can see we have agribusiness loans. These are loans which support youths who are doing business in the agriculture sector. Maybe it's for production, maybe for acquisition of raw materials, acquisition of farm inputs, used in the agribusiness loan. So the panel discussion on food security, you can see where you can fit in. We have business expansion loans. We have youth who want money to for what capital, stock, assets again, we give them here. And the most popular product under this so far is the asset finance loan. You know, we have the border sector. I was listening through the discussion and Victor was asking the panelists the positives of COVID-19. And from what we have shared across the country with border guys, in fact, they benefited more when there was a total lockdown. I don't know whether here, kama kulikuwa hivyo. Border actually that time, because they were telling me, getting a client from one road block to the other, which might be just a few kilometers, guys used to pay over 500 shillings. In fact, we have a group in Nairobi which operates borders in Makadara. Na hapo na ingine hapo Machakos hapo kulikuwa na road block. During that time, we had purchased motorbikes for them, around 4 of them. But during the total lockdown, ilikuja kufunguliwa, tulinunulia hiyo kikundi Probox. A new Probox. Now they are doing a taxi within that area. Because they were saying business was booming, it was an opportunity for them. So asset finance, we finance those youth to acquire motor vehicles, to acquire farm inputs, and those in production and field, we acquire such cameras for them so that you don't need, if a youth gets money, for example, we talk about level, and that is where the biggest challenge is with youth. If you take a loan today of 100,000, when the partner KCB sit down, you will withdraw that money. Uweke kwa mfuko. Then ukipita mahali, you see a very nice dress on shoe. Nasema hii haki wacha nijirudishie shukrani. Wanasemanga wacha tutoe hii pesa nuksi. So by kutoa pesa nuksi, kama ulitoa 100, at the end of the day, unafika nyumbani na 80,000. So in asset finance, kijana hakuzi pesa. Ukisema wewe unataka bodaboda, okay. Go to the Muhidi, identify the bodaboda you want, we give the Muhidi cash. Go get your bike and a car. And from the next week, you start getting money to pay your loan. So those are some of the individual loans we are talking about. The Talanta loan, we can move on to the other side. The Talanta loans, I've talked about that. The Talanta loans I've seen very talented youths here. Very talented musicians, spoken one. And maybe the biggest challenge when we came up with this product, which supports youth in the creative industry and performing industry. You may be a musician right now and you want to produce your music. And to get a good producer who can do audio and visual, you need like 50, 100,000, and you don't have that. So the talent alone, we give you from 100,000 up to 2 million for talent alone. And this one is the only individual loan product which is interest-free. We give you, you pay, it's interest-free. Because this is one sector which has been neglected so much. So we give you that money, you go to your producer, you do a contract, unapatia producer pesa, you do your music, you make sales, then you start paying your money. You need the cameras to do film. You are a painter. You are in all the issues revolving around talent, publishing. Nimesikia kijana hapa ako karibu kulonji book. If he doesn't manage to do the publication, it's quite a lot to produce books and copies which can help you make money. We have this product now where we can come in, identify somebody to publish the book, they do a contract, and we finance that contract. So the talent alone product is identifying all those youths. But the main challenge, as I tell you as youth, najua kila mtu ukiuliza wasanii wengi, wewe unafanyanga nini hasa kama msanii? Anakuambia mimi ni msanii. Hata anakuuliza hujawahi nisikia mahali. The biggest challenge in this sector is how youth package their talent to make business sense. Because you have to, this money at the end of the day has to come back, isn't it? So if you cannot tell me how you are making money from your spoken word, or how you are going to make money from your music, or from your painting, then as a financial might keep away, isn't it? So as artists or people with talent, we should also know how to package this talent to make business sense. We can go on, and we have quite another, like this was last month, I was Tharaka-Nithi, I was still at the PS. This youth, Tharaka-Nithi County, we purchased for him that lorry. He is in a serious business. So he has so many orders now that schools are open. So akatuambia ataki pesa tumununulie lorry ya kusupply hiyo mahindi na maharagwe kwa mashule. That is our PS there in white, and our CEOs on the left. So that is what I'm talking about. These are real stories. If you go for, it's a very popular musician. I think in Central Kenya. We have financed her to do her music. She has even opened a music school in Kiambu, where now she's doing productions for music. Vijana tunawatuma huku wanawatolea muziki poa at a good rate, and she has been able also to meet so many youths. You know, surviving in the music industry is also very difficult. Lakini watu wakisikia tu the production and show wa GP, she can be able to get into the industry very fast. So those are just but examples of our beneficiaries, but there are so many across the country. So the individual product, like you have seen for asset finance, the security is the asset itself. So you don't need to worry about security when you are doing asset finance, because if I find out there are some products where unaambiwa, hey, this money is a lot, you need to secure. If you don't have a security, maybe your parent or a friend can provide. But for asset finance, the asset is the security. Tukikununulia pikipiki, unatuacha na logbook. Tukikununulia gari, unaacha na logbook, like that. So that is the loan products we have, and we give our loans up to a maximum of 6 years, depending again on the amount you are taking. But we cannot give you 50,000 seriously. It will depend on the amount zenye tunakupatia. And currently in the country, since inception, we have managed to do around 13 billion countrywide, and the impact is there. And if you utilize the money well, because I'm telling you, lending to the youth is not easy. Because we have funded university groups, like I've said before. Lakini, when you graduate pale, you have the power that appertains. That youth group will never be seen again. Maybe mmoja alikuwa Karachuonyo, hiyo mwingine alikuwa wa Budalangi. That group disintegrated the head and mind. So we have mechanisms to ensure that the default is low. Youth are very volatile. Leo uko hapa, umeform group Kisii, you are a resident of Kisii, umepata kazi Mombasa, umeacha kikundi. Umekuwa hapa, because most youth think entrepreneurship is a side hustle. Because sijapata job poa, wacha tu nikuwe nafanya hii just as a side hustle, nikipata job poa nitaenda. And that is what we need to change. And I've said like we have given around 13 billion with a repayment rate of around 65%, which is not very bad, but not very good also. So going to the mandates of the fund, and this is where we have really engaged so much with Kippra and other partners. We do entrepreneurship training and capacity building to our youth. We do not just give them money. Before that money is available to you, we conduct what we call post and pre and post disbursement trainings, where we take you through financial literacy training. We try to hook you up with mentors who are in the same businesses you are doing, so that again you can be able to manage the funds you allocate to. We can go on. And the sensitizations are usually done all over the country. We have offices all over the countries, in all the counties. I'll introduce you to one of our officers here in Kisii. And during their engagements with the youth, and that is what they do on a day-to-day activity. Once they mobilize the youth, they have to take them through training. Even if it's youth from the university, you form groups here, our officers will come, and they take you through a capacity building program. We also do market support and linkages. We support youth to access markets. Salim here has talked about a lady called Zabi Mate from Jijeke Brickmaker. She came to us for a loan. That time when she was setting up, she could not get it that time. But now we are almost finalizing on her asset financing. And the other aspect she's really benefiting from that's the aspect of marketing. We are able to link her with the National Housing Corporation and the Ministry of Housing, so that she can supply bricks to the big four agenda on housing. So and manufacturing, so that she can supply those bricks to the houses being built by the government. So that is also one of the things we do. We engage supermarkets to provide shelves maybe for products made by the youth, so that they give them free. Maybe the youth can display interchangeably their products in that supermarket, so that they can be able to reach the market. We link them with backward companies, so that they can have their products standardized again by GEPS. And again here in Kisii, when COVID came up, there was a very high demand for sanitizers. Your time, it was not very clear on how you can get sanitizers. What is the name of that group here? Yes. So they came to our, yes? African Solutions in technology. They quickly started making their hand sanitizers, even before the government could think of doing the mass rollout of the sanitizers. And the only challenge they had was that in as much as they were doing so many sales, they wanted this sanitizer to go into the supermarket shelves. So our officers here, Nancy and Atos, they linked them with caps. The sanitizer was standardized, they got a barcode, and they were the first youth or the first customers of the government in Kisii County. They were supplying sanitizers for government offices. Before now, there was a mass rollout and all the supermarkets. And the money we gave them, they paid within 2 months. We gave them 100,000, 300,000. They paid within 3 months from the sale of sanitizers. And those are the opportunities we are talking about. We sponsor youth to showcase their products in trade shows, international trade fairs. We sponsor some to go outside the country and showcase their products so that we can open up a market for them. And then we have another mandate we call the CI, Commercial Infrastructure, and here is where we partner with county governments and other innovation hubs Salim was speaking about. We build affordable structures in major cities and towns. Unajua shida ya kijana akifanya biashara town, hata si askari ni kanjo, wanagopa kanjo kuliko askari. Si ndio? So when these youth are doing business and they are not doing it in a safe place, they are always afraid that kanjo will come and buy their things. If you walk around the city, those who go there, and there are some youths who sell their wares out there. Those guys of people really, they can actually knock you down, running away. So we partner with counties to provide spaces where we build decent trading spaces for the youth to sell their products, basically at a very subsidized fee, devoid of any county charges. We have such structures in Nakuru, Naivasha, Gilgil, Nairobi, quite a number. If you move ahead, see an example of what we do. We build such structures. Those who usually use the Nakuru, Gilgil Road, also Moro Town, there are quite a number there, whereby youth now can trade their businesses. Then they can trade in their businesses. Then, as I wind up, we have another program called the ESA. And the ESA, I mean Youth Enterprise Scheme abroad. On what I say, we facilitate youth to have jobs in the international markets. As Youth Fund, we don't look for these jobs for you. What we do, we partner with accredited agencies in the government, by the Ministry of Labor, and once they source for these jobs, we do what we call pre-departure training. We prepare you, we teach you around the culture, the country you are going to, the do's and don'ts in that country, how to report to your embassy, because the reason we are hearing so many issues of Kenyans being killed abroad, Kenyans being mistreated abroad, especially the Gulf and the Middle East, is because these people use agents who are not even known. Hata mtu akipiga simu aulizwe ulipelekwa huko na nani, anasema tu mama mwingine hapo, si ndio? Mwingine anakwenda hapo, they don't know them. But what we do as a government agency is that we link them with accredited agencies. We take them through the pre-departure training, and once they go there, it's always a requirement that they register. They register in the embassy, the nearest Kenyan embassy or consulate. So that in case, because there are so many things which can happen out there. There are wars, there are natural disasters. See, you have heard of government evacuating their citizens abroad. And if you are not registered in the embassy, the government will not know you are there. So it goes for those who are registered first before maybe reaching out to the rest. So we do those pre-departure training, and we have a database of those youths who are working abroad and have passed through our hands. And we have offices all over the country. You can move on as well. About the challenges, I won't repeat that. Where do you get our services? You can go. We have offices in all the counties, in the former district headquarters. We have officers there, and in each and every constituency we have officers who can serve you from that place. We also have a website. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, on Instagram, and I was just asking around. Since we came in, we have T-shirts with the logos of the partners we have here today. And I asked one of you, Since you came in, have you tried to open the website of any of the partners you are carrying on your back? In fact, she didn't even know. There were some logos. Can you please again? And then I asked her, how many times have you gone to your Facebook today and Twitter? Kaniambia Twitter sina lakini na FB na Instagram hata baadaye simu inaisha charge. Because of the many times wameingia Instagram na Facebook. So you see, if you don't go and look for these opportunities, it's usually very hard for them to come to you. Because you are carrying them on your back today. All those institutions you are carrying on your back have a lot to do with the youth. But how many have taken time to go through and know what they are doing? So, innovation, again, you have been told, we make use of technology and positive. As I went up, COVID has been an issue even in the program. We have also been affected so much by COVID. Before COVID came in, youth fund used to collect in terms of loan repayments every month, around 150 million per month plus. But since COVID came, we are roughly doing 80, 70 million because youth have been severely affected. The businesses have closed, have relocated, and these are some of the measures we came up with to address the challenge, or at least caution our youth from the effect of COVID. We gave a moratorium of 90 days to all our beneficiaries. We also did some loan restructuring. Loan restructuring means altering the terms of the loan so that it may favor the borrower. We also did loan top-ups. There are some people who paid their loans so well. By the time COVID came, maybe we have taken $1 million, and by the time COVID came, we were back in 100. Now your business is struggling. So we top up to 500,000, at least so that you can have some working capital, because you have already seen you have the ability to repay. And there's also an issue of CRB. By the way, hata sisi tunawekananga CRB. So during that time of COVID, when the government advised all the lenders about CRB and listing, we were not listing our youth during that time. Hata ukidefault tunakuachia. But now when you default, we will put you there. Other government youth initiatives, I won't go through all this, because like I have said, let us use our technology positively. For example, we have Weather Fund, which is not very different from what we do. We have Kenya Youth Employment Opportunities. Make sure before you sleep, you go through this website, you see what they do. KYOP usually targets youth who are between 18 to 29 years. Those who have not gone through the full education system, maybe you are dropped out, primary, secondary, in college, you need some technical training. This program is funded by the World Bank, targeting those youths. It has partners like NITA offering training. It has partners like Micro and Small Medium Enterprises Authority, who are they are giving grants. See, after the Mesama below, Kenya is giving grants of 20,000 for those who go through the program, so that they can start something. They are also doing business strategic plan competition. And the rest, maybe you have heard about them, the NYS. We also have the graduate internship opportunities, which the government is giving to all those who graduate. So, na kwa hayo mengi na machache, those are national contracts. The state can just take them there. We have a lot of information on our website, the success stories, contact of our county offices, everything is there. How we can, we even have online application forms, you can download them, fill from where you are, and we are very active on social media, so you can kindly follow us. Victor,
Hello. Thank you for that good presentation. I hope you came with some money.
Yeah, I have some checks in the car.
Yes, so we are here. Youth, are you among the youth? Ama mjafika youth? Eh? Mjafika here youth? Actually, when I was sitting around, I was seeing many young people in university. I was like, this is how small I was when I was in university. Yeah? Mjafika nchini? Yeah? Okay, wacha nione watu wako 18 and below. Below 18. Okay, I know there's some. Okay, those who are talented, those who skip classes, what we call accelerated learning. If you're, yeah, just skip your classes because it's allowed. Accelerated learning. Now that's okay. Thank you very much. Because we don't have time, I want us to welcome a few questions. I've already asked the first one. They say they have money. Do we have the mic? I think there's a hand at the back there. So this is the Youth Development Fund. What questions do you have for our presenter here? I can tell you we are doing well.
Thank you.
We are about to finish.
Thank you. I have a question. We have talked about
You say your name, so you see your name.
My name is Mansur Jita. We have talked about the Vision 2030 and the Big Four agenda. So my question is, has COVID-19 hindered the Youth Development Fund in achieving the Vision 2030 and the Big Four agenda? The next question is, what are some of the achievements that are made during the period of COVID-19?
The question is related to COVID and how it has affected your business and the Youth Development Fund. I think that's clear. Another question?
Good afternoon. I'm Timothy. My question is, I think you've left our very good answer on collaterals. What are the requirements for the youth to receive such kind of collateral offering?
Yes, you mentioned something on collateral, whether you require it. Let me balance the audience. Do you have somebody from this side? Meanwhile, as they are thinking the questions, let's have this lady here. I think you can take those three. The third one is coming, the fourth one is coming. This one has two questions together.
My name is Marina. I've got an application for the loan. How long does it take for you?
Okay. So how long does it take to get a loan? I think you can respond to those questions and then we'll ask maybe one or two before we finish.
Thank you so much. And to begin with the first question on the Big Four agenda and COVID-19, how COVID has really affected the realization of the Big Four agenda and the Vision 2030 and the fund. Like I have said, all our products cut across the four sectors in the Big Four, as I taken you through the products. And our programs, like I've said, we have programs like entrepreneurship training. Excuse me? Let us concentrate. Remember when COVID came in and there was a lockdown, the government banned all form of gatherings. So our officers were not able to move to the groups to train them. They were not able to go and meet youth out there, maybe for purposes of assessing their business, for purposes of recovering the money. So, like I explained, we lost quite a lot in terms of loan repayments, and also in terms of carrying out most of our activities, which are fuel-based. And you see now, if you will not carry out your main or key activities out there in the field, it also affects how you achieve what you have set to do at the start of the year. I can say that you are really quite affected because our most critical activities out there, the field were not able to be undertaken. And remember also issues like, I don't want to go through all the effects per sector, but it was discussed here how the different sectors have been affected. And if you bring in the issue of financing, for example, that youth who used to take food stuff from Kisii to Nairobi, kuuza na amechukua loan ya youth fund. Venye kulifungwa hangeweza kupeleka food to Marikiti in Nairobi. So you can see it really affected how we transacted business. Although we cannot say everything has opened up for now. Number two, about the achievements on COVID, I think I had addressed that along the way on how you have really managed to take advantage of the COVID. COVID has also helped institutions cut off costs, especially on meeting costs. The ones we are in government with can agree with me that we really like meetings and workshops and conferences. Tunapenda hiyo wenye tuko serikali. But when COVID came in, meetings were done online. So I think there were a lot of savings also which came in through use of technology when COVID came in. So there are a lot of advantages we can say, and people have also become very innovative. And the achievement so far for everyone is that institutions are still running. There are some who could not make it, and if you are an institution or a person in business and up to now you are still thriving and doing what you are supposed to do, and that is the biggest success we can start with. Timothy asked about collateral. I also mentioned somewhere that group loans do not have collateral. We keep them security free. But for individual loans, based on the amount they are taking, we take collateral, tangible security. We use logbooks, we use title deeds, which do not necessarily have to be owned by the youth, because that is where we go wrong. Nasema as a youth, where can I get a title deed or a logbook? And we are not talking about small amounts, 50,000, 100,000, but surely there is no financial will give you 5 million, and it's a loan interest free. Because again, this is a revolving fund. Whatever we give out to the youth has to come back so that we give other youths to benefit. So if the money is not repaid, then we will not be living our vision and mission. That's why we introduce a form of security along the way. I hope that is clear. Other issues I have not mentioned about, we have LPO financing. There on the government initiative for the youth, I had one initiative called AGPO. Have you heard about AGPO? Umesikia kuhusu AGPO because it's very important. AGPO. This one means access to government procurement opportunities. You guys, can you go to your phones and look for these things? Access to government procurement opportunities. We support youths who are doing tenders with the government. You want to send a tender is the wale watu wako na pesa. But if you get a tender in any government institution, as youth fund will finance you 70% of that tender. So ukipata tender na hauna pesa, come to us. And that LPO you are issued with is a form of security to us. Are we together? Yes. You can use it to secure financing. And that is where the money is, those who know the tendering process. So, Maureen asked about how long it takes. We have service level agreements on our loans, or what we call SLA. And for group loans, we are supposed to disburse from the time of application to disbursement a maximum of 2 weeks. For individual loans, a maximum of 30 days. And why am I saying 30 days? There are loans which will need external parties along the way. Like if you are using a logbook, we might need NTSA to join to register that logbook. A process we are not really in control of. We might need the land court to give a consent if it's a title deed. A process we are not in control of, but we give a timeline of 30 days. And 30 days, it might be a day, but the maximum of 30 days. I think I've handled the question.
Yeah.
And maybe before I sit down, Nancy, kindly stand up. We have our officer from Kisii County there, they are three. And Nancy Nyatuka is here.
Well, thank you very much, Youth Development Fund, for telling us that we have now our businesses. We want to start, we want to continue, we want to grow. We know a friend, we know of a friend where we are going to gain support and so on, and we have letters to your contact. We have also told so you need to know where the Youth Development Fund offices are. She's here, so you want to ask her. Thank you very much for that. Once again, I want to thank you for your patience. I know we are in Kisii. I know it's becoming dark out there. That means the clouds are gathering. And God is holding it. God is holding the rain for us. Yeah, so we know we are about to finish. Now, I want to make a very small and a polite request. I know we are really tired. I know we are really tired. But you know where I'm heading, Senior Professor was talking about science, technology, and philosophy. Yeah, those are the things we need to grow. Now you're already know what I'm saying is that we have one more small presentation. Our visitor has requested because he is not likely to be available. And since we want to know what government can advise us on how to grow professionally, because it's an institution which actually develops professionals, you really want to hear something from this presenter. He has also promised, and I wanted to give the promise that if he does it, I'll stop him. I'll grab the mic. Yes, he has said it's going to take only 20 minutes. See, I'm Africa, I'm Zungu. Ama hiyo ni mingi. Amesema basi itakuwa 19 minutes and some seconds without wasting a lot of time as he's coming up and the presentation is being made up. You can continue, or he can be introducing himself as we are setting up this. Thank you very much. Now, did you want to give us a? You have said you finish. That's okay. Thank you very much for the band.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to thank the board of directors of Kippra, the executive director of Kippra, Dr. Rose Kobe, and also the management and the structure of this university for giving us this opportunity to come and participate in this forum for mentorship of the university students through Kippra program. My presentation is generally very brief. I'll give a background information about Partner. I look at the professional qualifications that we do offer, and then I will briefly mention about the review of our curriculum, and then we may have a few questions and answer session. Before that, there is a audio clip that was prepared by our CEO, Dr. Nicholas Kisii, who was not able to join us in this forum because of other competing assignments. I'll ask that you play that clip for 3 minutes, thereafter I continue. Again, I'm joined by one who works here as a branch manager for Partner. He's Egra Matete. Egra is based here. Egra is based here at the Kisii Huduma Center. You can go to the clip from the CEO, Dr. Nicholas Kisii.
Good afternoon, whatever time you will be receiving this message. My name is Dr. Nicholas Letting. I'm the Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you will be receiving this message. My name is Dr. Nicholas Letting. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and Secretary of Kenya Accountants Secretaries National Examination Board, KASNEP. And I'm very happy to be with you this time virtually from Nairobi, headquarters of KASNEP. Today, as you go through the mentorship program in Kisii University, which is a joint program between Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis and KASNEP, among other stakeholders, we are very happy and honored to be with you this morning or today. And we know that this partnership, this mentorship program will go a long way in ensuring that you get to know about the world of work, the job market. KASNEP is a government parastatal that was established in 1969 to offer programs in accountancy, finance, investments, corporate governance, corporate secretarial, credit management, as well as ICT. We offer programs at the certificate level for people who have a grade of D, plain and above, and so a diploma for people with D, C minus and above, and for professional qualifications for people with a C plus and above. So we want to appeal to you to join KASNEP to do either CPA, Certified Public Accountant of Kenya, Certified Secretary of Kenya, or the Certified Investment and Financial Analyst, which are the professional qualifications for those people in the university. And we believe that the world of work will enable you to, once you graduate from your university, you'll have the degree and the professional qualification, and it gives you a higher employability level, so that when you compete, when you go for an interview, you can easily outshine somebody who has a degree only. So using my own experience many years ago when I was in the university, I also did CPA, and when I went for interview with some people who had also done the degree that I did, BCom, without even a CPA, I got the chance to be employed at that time. And my classmates who had not done it took time to get a job after the university. So my advice to young people like us now, when you are here in Kisii, is that you need to plan your career in a way that you still have a time to study for the bachelor's degree you're doing, and also to do your professional qualifications and specialize in an area that requires people. So I would like you to just wish you a good time there as you go. KASNEP is represented on the ground by Mr. Joseph Kariga, the Deputy Director for Examinations Administration, and we are very glad that he's going to make a presentation there to you people. You can ask him as many questions as possible. This year, we shall have examinations in 3 sittings. We shall have exams in April, in August, and in December. And so you can register for them now. The deadline for registration for the April exams will be on 28th of February, and the exams that will be done in August, the deadline will be in 31st of July. And the exams that will be done in December, the deadline will be 31st of October. So I want to wish you well in your careers, in your aspirations as young people. we were once there, but we have reached where we are today. As a CEO, I am very glad to wish you all the best in your day today, this week, in February, as just you plan your career. We are together for you and we are willing to partner with you. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Good morning.
Now, the CEO has summarized in a big way the presentation and how the responsibilities of the students are quickly go through the slide. I promise that I will not digress for high management of the slide. Now, so basically, we are saying that the calculation of the population and treasury, the offer professional diploma, certificate qualification in finance, accounting, governance, and management. And then we are starting other three acts of parliament, and we have the Accountants Act, the Five Public Secretary Act, the Investment and Financial Analyst Act. And what we think of framework is telling us is that the legal avenue for you to become an accountant, you must go through a 6-year qualification. Again, the legal avenue in Kenya, becoming a certified public secretary, is that you must go through a certified public secretary qualification, which will be presented to different. And then finally, for you to become an investment and financial analyst in this country, the legal framework requires to go to a qualification called Kippra. So those are the three articles of instruction. Then our mandate is general conservative. We do conduct professional diploma and certificate examination, and we examine candidates in all those fields which are related to finance. And we do also upgraded relevant training institutions. And in this country, we have accredited quite a number of public universities, accredited universities, and also national polytechnics and other defense authorities. Our core values, virtue of being a foundation business, are listed there. We have integrity, professionalism, customer focus, teamwork, and innovation. Again, a little bit of a historical background. Canada has been there for now 21 years, and we celebrated 50 years in 2019. And since that time, Canada has played a very significant role in the progress of these countries, particularly by competitive professionals in the field of finance, governance, and accountancy. Again, to note that graduates of partners are made a very equal in both public sector and private sector. And you realize in both very institutions, you find a graduate of partners, whether it is a hospital, whether it is a company, whether it is a university, secondary schools, and so on. We have graduates of partners from this institution. Again, we do benchmark our qualification in best practice of every year, global data, to ensure that our graduates remain competitive in the global market. Our professional development and global opportunities, we are saying that we are partners with accredited universities, national polytechnics, and universities to offer qualifications that lead to careers in accountancy, finance, credit, governance, and management. And we do provide set of pathways or progression to the youth to pursue professional qualifications. In other words, even though it's very low qualification in PhD, such as B, we have an opportunity for them, the opportunity for those with finances, we do diploma programs, and we have those with passive qualifications that are eligible to pursue professional qualifications. Our qualifications are in three categories: certificate, diploma, and professional. And I'll quickly look at them. We have the relevant which may not be relevant to most of the students who are here. But again, for purposes of sharing information, this qualification is taken to those who can see at the same at least at any grade of D. And they are able to pursue the qualification of partners who is family. The deliverable for this is 2,000, and it takes 6 months per record. and come home and again pursue the diploma program. The diploma qualification currently we have two. We have the ATD, which is most popular, and we have a diploma in business management. ATD is accounting technician diploma. And again, this one is tailor-made for those who have paid PhD minor. The diploma in foundation, I've talked about the ATD, diploma in business management, and the ATD, it will candidate to use that competency, work as a middle-level accountant, and they do provide technical support professionals in the fields of accounting, auditing, and taxation. The diploma in business management qualification includes candidates with skills and competencies to work as a technician in business management and business control in both financial and financial sector. Therefore, we have a minimum is 3 months and above, and it will take a minimum of 18 months. Progressing further to the professional qualification, presently we have 3, we have 4, we have the CPA, we have the CIPA, we have the CS, and certified business professional. The CPA, the CIPA, and CS are well known, but we also have the CPC that is in business management. The minimum requirement for this is Kippra. Again, to note that we do recognize a prior learning, and therefore, even if you have a degree, and you need you want to pursue a qualification, we give extension. For instance, if you have a BCom degree, you will be eligible for extension in about 7 people. So we do recognize prior learning. The career opportunities for CPA graduates, very committed, accountant, they are skilled and competent professionals, professional accountant, auditor, finance manager, tax consultant, and practitioner. And again, we have indicated earlier that the legal way to become an accountant in this country is through this qualification. For CS, these are expert practitioners in corporate governance, corporate secretary in practice, consultancy, business management, and human resource management. CIPA, these are experts in financial analysis, consultants in investment management, portfolio management, among others. And certified business managers are competent software managers, practitioners, and consultants in the field of revenue or business management. Again, the health requirement for this professional qualification is a Kippra. And depending on the strength of a candidate, the program will take through for a period of 18 to 6 months. We have some students who complete within this 16. But again, if they are exempted, you may even take a total period of less than a year. If you have extension, particularly if you are exempted in about 8 months. Presently, in the professional program, they have 15 papers, but we have a new curriculum that will be implemented from 1st July. And the number of papers are likely to change, and there are a number of article pages in the new curriculum. I've talked about the facilities for graduate graduates. I want to give that slide next. And we have other updates, and again, we have talked from the CEO that we have introduced 3 expeditions meetings from this year, starting in April, then August, and December. And this development is in line with best practice globally. And the most of our students don't do in 1 or so. We are allowing them to do a teaching of that. We are giving them to do examination for this teaching. As indicated that we have carried a major view of the resources, which is aligned to competency-based curriculum, a market need, global standard, and we will implement them from 1st of July. And we have arrived in this qualification, the Kenya National Qualification Authority of Kenya. Professional qualification as a review syllabus. I'm not going to details of this, but note that the new CPA, taking from 1st July, you have the 17 papers, plus 1 practical paper, which will be on business and data analysis. Again, in addition, this is in line with best practice globally. Students will be required to attend some special workshops on ethics, margin trade, and work-based simulation for those without 1 year working experience prior to qualification. As here, the papers have been reduced. There will be 16 papers plus one research project paper. The paper will have 17 papers, including a practical paper on financial modeling and data analysis. Then the PCP will have 14 papers, which are reduction from 18, again, designed in best practice globally. And then for the certified, we have a new qualification in IT, which is we are calling certified information system support CISCC, which will have the raw paper as a project. To note that the implementation requirement is not changing, all the professional qualifications which will remain as Kippra, and the average completion period will be 4 years. Then we have introduced a qualification program under the new syllabus. This is a significant shift from what we have been having, and again, it is to address the market need. We shall be having a qualification program in public sector financial management. This after maybe you finish the CPA, you will go to this specialization. We have forensic accounting, and again, we have a paper on the ethics and integrity, and it will take only 1 year. And the minimum qualification will be a degree program. Now, this syllabus will be run sometimes in March. Again, a lot of information will be shared to the public. Finally, for the diploma, not major changes. The papers remain for the PG. For the diploma information system support is a new qualification. The 9 paper, again, the minimum military is minimum. Note that the this year's qualification will be based down. Again, to address the market need, noting that qualification may not be very relevant to the market, but out of the consultation with the stakeholders. We have introduced new qualification, certificate and short-term vocational qualification, which will be 2. We have certificate in accounting and management. We have a short vocational courses. We have vocational certificate in technology and innovation, which will be online based. But we also have a vocational certificate in ICT, which will also be online. The farm qualification is the same, and it works with 7 papers. Again, the minimum entry requirement in order to get the certificate, whether you have a D-minor or a certificate, that will give a pathway to progress to the other papers. Thank you for the presentation. Just we detect here that the cabinet is headquartered in Nairobi, in Napa Hill. But in addition, we have 7 branch offices, which are under Huduma. We have one in Kisii, of the EGRA. And for those who are here, I need to give EGRA next email. We have Kisii at cabinet.or.ke. That is the email for EGRA in case you want further information. Again, we have other branches outside Nairobi. We have one in Nyeri, we have one in Meru, we have one in Eldoret, Nakuru, Kisumu. Those are the branch offices for country. Again, a lot of information I've given you is also available from our website, www.casnet.or.ke. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you, Casnet, for that good presentation. I think we can ask 1 or 2 questions about Casnet, but I have a question for the students. And what's the important difference between academic qualification and professional qualification? If you don't understand, no problem. University is the place for it. You research, get me the difference between the difference between academic qualification and professional qualification. Yes, anybody was a question and somebody can check out the mic. Yes, people are tired here. Standing like this. What's the question? I'm taking for instance here, the university, then for the country, will you offer classes for the country?
Take it up on there.
I'm interested in one of your courses. Do I really have to take a class or I can just produce something? Yes,
Yes, hello. So nilikuwa nauliza aje, now that some guys wanna drop before the end of the year, na hakuna certificate to show them. Someone maybe did part one. So I think you guys should come up with a method like, if someone is a qualified of part one, a certificate yake, part two certificate yake. Okay, the certificate done, but the one certificate will repeat at the beginning.
So maybe to respond to those questions, yeah, maybe he's talking to so many about so many people.
Yes, there's a person I did not know from the past. Okay, and this will take care that we do not offer training. We are established as an examination body. Just like Kenya National Examination Council does not offer training, we do not offer. Number two, we have accredited training institutions. One of our mandates is here to accredit training institutions, and we have accredited over 200 institutions that do offer tuition. And most of them are universities. We have national polytechnics, and quite a number of institutions established under the state authority, so-called technical training institutes. And therefore, if you want training, those institutions, if you go to our website, they are listed there. And I am aware that they are offering both online as well as the physical learning. The other question is on certificate. We do offer certificate for every part. If you have qualified for CPA part 1, there's a certificate. Part 2, there's a certificate. Even part 3, there's a final certificate. Those are the questions that were asked.
Okay. So unless we're talking about sections, the part. So the part is that they are confirmed that the certificates of every pass. One more.
Hello, yes, it's Colin. Okay, I would like to inquire about the partnership with other industrial players.
Yeah, I think the question is clear that in your policy, would you consider or you have linkages between the exam, people are doing exams and maybe attachments, etc. That's the innovation is talking about. Yes, another, the last one.
Hello. Please to have this question. With the new changes, with the units that does it affect, like for example, in section 1, there is a unit called entrepreneurship, and now with the new changes, are you likely to find the same unit in section 2 or the units are not answered with?
I think you can respond to those.
Thank you very much for those questions. One of them is with regard to the I can confirm that in our board, the Federation of Kenyan Employees is represented, and of course, we have KE. One of the requirements is that they are employers. If they are employing accountants, for instance, they always look for qualified accountants who are passed through ASME. The other item on industrial linkage, we are working on establishing a president office within our offices, which has not been there. It is going to handle issues of raising student various organizations. But again, public service, we do find that opportunities at our workplace through the public service commission. The other question is on the transitional arrangement. If I had you, there is a paper called Enterprise by Communication. It is true in CPS section 1. Whether it will be there under the revised curriculum, what we have done is to ensure that under the transition arrangement, a paper that you have passed, even if it appears in a higher level, you not be required to bring that. And in addition, there is a significant reform in the way we have been offering that we have been certifying candidates. We have been having a system where if you see 5 papers, if you see papers 5 times consecutively, and you fail the papers, you will be required to take all of them. That rule has been abolished, and it will come in effect with the new curriculum. So those are the changes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Kasih, I think we can give them another clap. So thank you very much. So, as we promised, we were going to take only 20 minutes, but we did not ask us whether the 20 minutes were going to run concurrently. Okay? Yeah, so I think now we have come to the end of this today's session, and I want to thank you for your participation. I know there's some announcements we want to make. One of them, I don't know whether our Twitter slide is ready. We wanted to have our Twitter handle displayed so that we are able to follow. I know there's a text message from Kippra which you are going to receive, because as an institution we also want to grow. We always evaluate our programs and our daily events. So every day we send an evaluation to all the participants, so that they are able to tell us how the day went, which areas we have our strength, which areas of weakness, and we want you to be as honest as possible. That's the only way you can make us grow. So I'm sure the team will be working on that. If they are not set, you will receive the evaluation very, very, very soon. And we have noticed that some of you have not been very active on Twitter. We want to encourage you to go to our Twitter handle, the Twitter handle for the university, Facebook, YouTube, and so on, comment, so that this event is able to reach as many people as possible. For those who will see your videos, and we try to find people start following and then be able to see the issues with the raising, because we also want to see the questions of the contributions of the day reaching a bigger audience out there. So I know there are most of the other group which also joining us online. I want to thank you for joining us and for being part of this today's events. But tomorrow we have other lined up events. So we are going to encourage that you come early enough so that we can run the program and we finish within the time stipulated. So I want to invite you, anybody else who has an announcement, but I know Brother Francis will want to say something. So I want to welcome him, and please collect the other announcement, whoever wants to make an announcement. So Brother Francis, you have been a great host for today. Can you tell us something?
Thank you very much. Victor, sometimes MCs are forgotten. Tafadhali pigia Victor makofi. Tafadhali. It's not easy not easy to run a program, especially when that program is happening on the opening day. It is very crazy normally. And so I don't envy you for doing this, but I am so grateful. And God has been kind. I'm the speaker of the Victor, so you will remember. On behalf of Kisii University, I want to say thank you very much. All the speakers for being here. Very sincere. Our Kippra board director, the Kippra CEO, who have sat here continuously. I know the vice chancellor wanted to continue sitting, but he is meeting. And I can hear calls I know from CBC. We can't see whether we are done or not, but I will speak later. Now, I thank all our guests for today. Thanks for all those who have presented and given us wonderful ideas. We are very, very grateful. I want to thank all our students from Kisii University and from the other universities. KMTC, nimeona hata gari imekuja kuwabeba, but nimewaambia wafuate kiasi. And all the other universities that managed to make it here. Those who are following us online, we want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate the Fourth Estate, our media team, and the technical team for making this possible, that we are actually present virtually. Hebu tupigie watu makofi tafadhali. Fourth Estate ni watu wa media. Kama huko umejua. Then I want to thank all of us for being ready, being available, and listening to this program. Now, I want to make one quick announcement, and there is one that Victor has already made. All of you, if you wrote your phone number well, the text message will be coming in the next 5 minutes. So, tafadhali, follow the link and do what the text is asking you to do. Tafadhali. It is important for us to get feedback when we do anything that has important value. The second one is that tomorrow, yes, as Victor said, we need to begin early so that we do not have to be caught with whatever situation. So we begin at exactly 8. I want to address by 7:45 to go to Maketi so that we are able to begin at exactly 8. Remember, kutakuwa na courtesy call yenye itafanya tuelewe, tunakuja tu direct hapo kama tunaendelea, so that we can eat lunch when it is supposed to be lunch. Video. Badala ya kukula lunch wakati is supposed to be sasa tunakula hapa, unaenda kukula dinner, you know. Yeah, unajibana kukula dinner. So, the last thing I want to say, for those of you who did not get a chance to register for the publication and policy and publication club, the Kisii University Policy and Publication Club. If you have not gotten a chance to register and you are interested in registering, I ask you to unajua tasema hiyo kamera irudi pale tafadhali. If possible, kwa hiyo video kwa yeah, so let us remain focused. Okay. So be kind. So if you are not registered for the Kisii University Policy and Publication Club, you have a chance between now and 10 a.m. tomorrow. This one you have to physically go to my office, find the secretary, and record your details there. Because we want to be able to take personal responsibility for that commitment. So if you really want to be a member of that club, and what is the essence of this club? We want to make sure that whatever Kippra and the University of began here, we can continue that conversation. We can make sure that there's a reason why Kippra will want to come back again. There's a reason why we go to Kippra to be able to keep this down. As we end this program, there is no best prayer like the Kenya National Anthem. So we will close with the Kenya National Anthem, and I will be asking all of us to sing along at the anthem. But Wait, I'm not ready. When we finish, I will ask everybody to remain standing and the band will play something for us. I will ask the guests to go ahead. They will be shown where to go to. And then we will go to where we took our break, our tea, and enjoy the sumptuous dinner awaiting the beginning of tomorrow. So with this and with the many things, let us rise for this prayer and night. So in honor of this great country, in honor of the heroes of our freedom, in honor of your personal and my personal responsibility to the development of the nation, let us all be attentive and at action as we get the national anthem.